What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to another episode of Thirsty Thursdays. It's been a little bit over 2 months since I last did one of these, but it's always a good time. We have a couple special guests, and I sent a couple DMs out to a lot of people, so who knows what surprise people we're going to have come on later in the show. Just going to kind of shoot the shit, talk about crypto. If there's any questions you guys have in the comments section, please feel free to, plug away, ask away, and we'll try to do the best that we can to answer. I do have Baroness and Obi-Wan, both familiar faces on the Thirsty Thursdays. So it'll be good to hear and see them because I know it's been a minute. But yeah, let's just jump right into it. While we got people just kind of filtering in right now, I'm just going to do a quick crypto market overview. Let me pull up my screen. All right. I haven't really paid attention to what was going on today, but looks like the market was up or is up about 2.07%. Last 24 hours, what do we got? Bitcoin, I think, is a little over 21,000 right now, 21,173. ETH's doing pretty decent, up about 2.33%, sitting about 1560. Let's see, Cardano's up. Yeah, it looks like today pretty much was a pretty green day. Top gainers, we got Crypterium, which I've never heard of, up about 52.82%, sitting at 12 cents. Dipius, another one I haven't heard of, up about 21%, sitting at 22 cents. And Engine Coin, which I have heard of, up about 18.49%, sitting at 43 cents. Holidays, I do these in every one of my videos. It's always fun to see what holidays there are. There's a lot of them, a lot of different holidays for every single day. January 19th, 2023, it's National Popcorn Day, 24,000 shares. Buttered, salted, kettle, drizzled with caramel popcorn is one of those snacks perfect for anytime, anywhere. Definitely agree on that one. The only thing I don't like about the popcorn, if it's not the puffed ones, it's the ones like the regular popcorn where the seeds get stuck in between your teeth. That's always a pain. But yeah, National Popcorn Day. Artist as Outlaw Day. Get your paints and spray cans ready as we gear up to celebrate outlaw artists. Interesting. Brew a Potion Day. Get your cauldrons out and brew with us as we celebrate Brew a Potion Day. That's kind of interesting. That's probably kind of like one of those like herbal supplement type of thing, or where you make different type of tinctures and teas or whatever. So Brew Potion Day. Get to know your customers day. KYC. Good Memory Day. Gun Appreciation Day. Get ready to discuss gun safety and other ways to appreciate guns. It's Annie Day, Lucy Day, Tin Can Day, Robert E. Lee Day, Tenderness Toward Existence Day, Women's Healthy Weight Day, and World Quark Day. What is that? Get your spoons out to scoop up everything we've got for World Quark Day. It looks like, I don't know, like cottage cheese or like, what is that? Mexican cojita cheese. But yeah, World Quark Day for you guys. Crypto bubbles, last 24 hours. See a green. Good to see. This last hour, still green. So that's good to see. Take a look at my favorites. Everything's green. Good to see, except for Jasmine, which I really don't have. I don't even have any right now because it's all locked up on a Voyager. Fear and Greed Index. We refresh it. We're back into neutral territory. Yesterday we were in fear. It's been kind of hovering around that 45 to 50 territory the last week or so. Obviously, the markets have been pumping the last week or so, and we had a little cool off the other day, but again, looks like the markets are doing pretty good the last 24 hours. Total crypto market cap, looking at about 939 billion, according to TradingView. I always know CoinGecko always has a little bit higher. I have it pulled up here in my second monitor. Probably is going to say we're a little bit over $1 trillion. Yeah, so CoinGecko, wherever it pulls its data and analytics for the market cap for the total crypto space, looking at about $1.016 trillion, according to them. So again, we have been in this falling wedge for quite a while, and we have broken above it. We were staying above it, at least in the daily, so that's good to see. However, we are a little bit far away from this Ichimoku cloud, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a little cool off heading back down towards this Ichimoku cloud. And if you extend this trend line down a little bit farther, using this kind of as like a support now if the market does seem to keep going to the downtrend area. Bitcoin dominance. Obviously, Bitcoin's the safe haven during the bear market. Not anyone is really into alts unless you're taking a gamble. But Bitcoin dominance has been pumping up the last week or so. You can see here, we're currently looking at about a 43.37%, far away from the Ichimoku cloud. However, this is on the daily RSI. We are a little bit overbought here. So again, wouldn't be too surprised if, I mentioned this in my video the other day, if we started to see a nice cool off in the crypto markets and for Bitcoin. Little discrepancy though. I think we're going to look at the DXY here. This is the pre-market. So for tomorrow, it looks like futures are in the green, but it looks like the traditional markets did end in red today. But if you take a look at the DXY on the daily, we have been in a downtrend the last 7 days. If you guys follow me, you watch my videos, I put this out in every single one. Whenever the DXY is down, the crypto and traditional markets are up and vice versa. So again, we've seen this nice little run up with the crypto markets. DXY has been in a downtrend lately. I mean, there's a whole Elliott wave pattern right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where we could potentially be in this an ABC corrective phase right now. And it looks like it's kind of playing out right now. And we're still maybe moving down to this A corrective wave. 200-week moving average, we are below that. And we haven't seen that since at least around 16th June of 2021. So the DXY is down, and we're continuing this ABC wave corrective pattern. I'm still going to see, or at least predict maybe, that the crypto markets and traditional markets could have a nice little uptick here. But I mean, there's lots of different geopolitical and macroeconomics going on, which we'll talk about here later in the stream, to where my guests and whoever pops in thinks exactly where we are. Are we at the bottom? Like, where are we at? So just one thing to talk about. Bitcoin right now, $21,136. We are far away from the Ichimoku cloud. 4-hour chart, we have been pumping up the last, about 12 hours or so. We are in this channel right now. You kind of see this trend line here as a support. It did dip below this the other day during that Department of Justice announcement of that. It was this Russian dude that I think he was based out of China, or the crypto exchange. I don't even remember the name of it, but it was leading up to it. Everyone thought it was something with FTX or Binance international regulation that the Department of Justice was going to. It was kind of leading up to it. It sold off, dipped all the way down to about $20,300 before coming back up in doing a nice little recovery. It was a big nothing burger, long story short. But again, we are in this kind of little small channel here, at least on the 4-hour chart. And again, in the video I put out the other day, from Norris Digital Assets, I send him a DM trying to get him to come on here. He's a fellow YouTuber. He's got over 2,000 subscribers, but he put out this bull flag potential pattern that is playing out, which did happen around April 2nd, 2019 versus today. Typically, when you see a bull flag, it goes a nice pump up. Here back in 2019, there was a 28% pump, and it usually, bull flag goes downwards, but in this case, it went upwards, and then we continue to pump. Fast forward to today, there's a similar pattern potentially playing out where we did have this 28% pump to the upside the last week or so, and we're kind of in this channel that we're talking about. So we could be bouncing around here a little bit over the next week or so, but we might see a nice little pump back up into the green potentially. But again, that's up for debate. Different geopolitical, macroeconomics going on in the market. Is it different this time? I don't know, but that's just something to look at. Next, I'm not going to really talk about this right now before I bring in my guests, but I do want to talk about this a little bit later. I did talk about it in my previous video about the SEC charging Gemini and Genesis with unregistered securities offering, talking about DCG, Digital Currency Group, and a lot of the stuff that they have their hands in. They're going to file for bankruptcy, Chapter 11, all that type of stuff, but we'll get into that here in a second. Haven't checked my chats. Let's see who's all here. Nobody. It doesn't seem like anybody's watching right now. But we'll bring in the one and only Obi-Wan. How's it going?
Hey. Oh, I'm happy to hang out. We were in the comment chats yesterday, and now it's Thirsty Thursday time. So yeah, it's been a minute. It's before the holidays, but I had to dig deep in the fridge there, and I found a Mexican style Shiner Orale.
Nice.
Which evidently is not showing up because of my background.
There we go. How is it?
It's good. It's good. It's a good, Mexican style beer. And then for later, I've got the Lakewood Peanut Butter Temptress.
Ooh, nice. Is that a porter?
Imperial Milk Stout.
Nice. Lakewood Brewing, is that a local place in
Yeah,
Texas,
it's a
or is
place
that
in Dallas.
nice?
Yeah,
So
and
yeah, how have you
Shiner's in
been?
Texas as well.
How have you been? Weren't you like traveling or something? You did like a little trip with the Tesla, or was it Tesla, or was it the Mustang, right?
Yeah, yeah. The Mustang Mach-E did a little 5,000-mile road trip through 7
Nice.
states, and um, had a fun adventure there through the flooding in California and road closures and
I
blizzards
heard
in
about that.
Arizona and ice in New Mexico. All sorts of
So you got to
fun
experience
driving.
all of that, which usually isn't a regular occurrence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even it got snowed in Washington too. So
Wow.
it was quite a trip.
So did you kind of like work your way us like the West Coast all the way up to Seattle, or
Yeah, we took the high desert route because we figured the charging situation would be better than going up through like Utah and like Wyoming, Idaho.
yeah,
We were right about the charging situation. It was awesome. Didn't really have much of a problem there, and charging's not very expensive in an electric
yeah,
car. It's like a fifth or sixth of the cost, like when you factor in your home charging.
mhm.
If you're constantly using public charging, it could, maybe get to a third to half of what a gas car would be. But um, yeah, I have it more for the performance, I think, more than anything else. It's just a fun car to drive.
What does that do,
Um,
0 to 60? Do you know off the top of your head?
4 seconds.
4 seconds? That's not bad at all.
Yeah.
Is it all-wheel drive or rear? I have no
All-wheel
idea.
drive, extended range, Mach-E, the 2022 premium model.
Nice,
And then I have another 4-second Mustang. I have a V8 convertible 2018. So,
nice.
yeah. So I
So
like Mustangs.
yeah, so when you plan your trip, does it the GPS? Is there like an option to plan, I guess, for charging stations? And do you guys use Tesla? Didn't they integrate with Ford, or have they not done that deal or whatever?
They're supposed to open up their charging network, but we're mostly using Electrify America. And yeah, the dash on the car, it's got like this nice screen. Ford does a really good job of working with different charging network partners, and
Mhm.
the computer on the car, it'll even recalculate on the fly. So if you're starting to, maybe I'm driving too fast, or the headwinds or the temperatures kind of reducing some of the range, it'll say, hey, we're going to redirect or update your chargers, and it just updates it along your route.
Mm.
And yeah, we never had a. There was one point in the trip where um, basically they closed down I-40, so we had 17 miles to our next charge. We had 50 something miles of range, and the detour was like 60 miles. So we're about right on the cutoff there,
Mhm.
and we're like, well, crap, we can make the 17 miles easily, but if they're going to shut the roads down. Anyways, long story short, we ended up in some old Route 66 Pegasus station, plugged into the ice machine outlet on the side of the building. While overnight, it was a 12-hour stay. We slept in the car while there was a blizzard happening, and I would, run the car about every 30 to 90 minutes to keep the snow off and
Yeah.
keep the car warm and keep us warm in the car. But no, it was an apocalyptic. There was cars coming off the freeway and just parking on the sides of the roads everywhere. Some cars were getting rear-ended.
Oh wow.
Um, it was pretty nasty. But yeah, I think we got stopped around 2:30 in the afternoon, and I didn't get back on the highway. It wasn't cleared and plowed until 5 a.m. the next morning.
Wow. So when you say you go to like is there charging stations, or you just plug into a regular outlet, like just a 120-volt or whatever?
Well, in that emergency scenario, I was just plugging in the car to an outlet or a random outlet,
Oh, so
like
you have the
110.
option. It plugs into a regular just electrical outlet, huh?
Yep. Yeah, it kept the lights on and the heat on, and it didn't really add a whole lot of range, but it, kept us comfortable. And there are people like wanting desperately to unplug, the car and try to charge their phones because it was pretty crazy.
Oh wow.
And we had spare battery packs and other things for our phones and electronics, but yeah, it's about a 20 to 30 minute stop to get to enough charge to get the next charging station if you're going on a major freeway corridor.
Mhm.
So I got to stop about every 100 miles anyway, just stretch the leg or walk Luna or get something to eat. So we just kind of timed our eating and bathroom stops along the way with the chargers, and it was great.
So they're actually Ford. They have their own like charging stations.
Yeah, Electrify America
I've
is
never
the
heard of that.
primary one that we use. They're like in Walmarts and Sam Club parking lots.
Okay. I've
In
never seen them
California, there was
over
like
here.
Caltrans In Oklahoma, there was one called Francis America. There's like a SEMA Connect one in Washington. So they're not the Tesla chargers, but there's a whole lot of electric car networks out there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, ChargePoint and Blink, and I do have an adapter to use a Tesla destination charger, but I can't use the superchargers of the Teslas. They have a proprietary plug and technology, but all the other stuff was fine.
So when you charge it like at your house, how long does it take to get fully charged? Like if I don't know how low you let it go before. Is there like a do you have to like it's like an iPhone, it has to get below 20%, you let it charge up to 80% to maximize the battery capacity. Is it the same with the car? I have no idea.
Yeah, it's usually full charge is considered 80%. To get to 80%, it usually to get from like 20 to 80% is almost as long as getting from 80 to 100. So unless you're planning a particularly long trip, you don't really have to take it over 80. I'm getting over 250-mile range on 80% charge anyway, so 315 miles or so on 100% around town. It's pretty fuel efficient, or energy efficient. So like honestly, like during the week we don't drive too much, like doing school drop off and maybe getting some groceries. So I only have to plug it in like overnight a couple times a week, and I have more than enough charge for a week worth of driving off of my 110 power. And I pay 11 cents a kilowatt hour. So I figured out the cost so far since I've owned it. It's cost about 3 cents a mile in energy.
Wow.
And to compare it, my V8, which takes the 93 octane, cost me about 19 to 20 cents. So per mile. So it's a sixth of the price to drive the electric.
Shuts Hund in the comments says, how long do the batteries last? It's a good question.
I have a 10-year warranty on them. I'll probably sell the car before the batteries go.
Yeah.
And Ford wants the batteries too, because they recondition them and put them in another car.
Gotcha.
Battery packs cost 20 to 25 grand.
Jeez, that's insane.
Yeah, so you're like, if you ever get to a point where like feeling like, it's time for a new car, just get a new car. But I know some other owners, because I stopped and I talked to a lot of Rivian owners, Polestar owners, BMWs, Hyundais, Audis, like along the trip. And some people are even like buying like a premium Mach-E and then trading it in because they pre-ordered the GT of the next year's model, and they are able to sell the car or trade it in basically for driving the car for free for a year, because they get more than what they paid for the car. And with the pre-order of the new car, they're actually making a profit. So you can skip from electric car to electric car every 1 or 2 years, and they hold their value so well, you're not really losing. The only thing is you got to wait for the car to be built and take delivery. So we ordered ours back in October, and I got Ford employee pricing, or near. And then by the time we took delivery in July, Ford had raised the price like $9,000. So even when I drove it off the lot, I had made money.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a whole nother conversation about the used car market and the new car market with the interest rates and everything going on right now. Apparently, everything's starting to come down a little bit. And I know the Teslas, they significantly dropped their Model Y pricing was like $70K. They dropped it down, MSRP down to like $52K or $50K right now. Did you hear about that one?
Yeah, because they can do that. They have pretty good margins, and depending on their inventory, they can manipulate the price a little bit, and people will buy them anyway. There's more demand than there are cars, so they hold their value really well. All the electrics, even the secondary market, and it's outside of Teslas, there's not a whole lot of pre-owned vehicles out there for sale. So the ones that are in high demand, so they hold their value extremely well.
Yeah. Have you ever drove a Tesla?
I've ridden in a Tesla, but I never drove a Tesla.
I actually drove one. Like I think I commented in our one car group on Signal. It was about a month ago or something like that. But that was my first time ever driving an electric car. First experience being in one. And I was surprised. One of my coworkers, he's just like, we were doing like a yard check or something over in an empty lot, and he's like, "You want to drive it?" I said, "Okay." And I don't know, everything was just insane. It was absolute, like the whole touch screen, and to like put it into like drive, there's just a button you press on the side. It was very weird, but like he was flooring it as fast as like, and it was just like you go like this. No sound, but it was like faster than anything I've ever felt before. It was insane. And then he let me drive it, and it's just a weird thing because I'm used to like when you floor it, you get thrown back and you're hearing like the engine or whatever.
Yeah.
But it was an experience I'll never forget, like my first time ever doing that. So
Yeah, the torque is awesome because you
yeah,
get it right when you hit the accelerator, and it's very linear power delivery until you get to like, oh, I would say about 90 miles an hour, and then it starts to taper off a little.
that's what I hear. Yeah.
But it's just like it's incredible, like that acceleration, if you really punch it,
Mm-hmm.
is so instant. They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of fun, and the weight, because the batteries are all on the bottom of the car, so you have all that weight right on the tires, so they get phenomenal grip
Yep.
and low center of gravity for handling. Like, I mean, I've taken my cars. We did when we did a trip to Tennessee last year. We ended up there's a road closure on again I-40, and to get around it, the car nav was like, "Hey, would you like to take this alternate route? May contain areas of unpaved road." I'm like, "Yeah, sure, sounds fun." Thinking
Yeah.
it'd be like a little gravel road to get on and off the road, or maybe cross a bridge or something. Oh no, this took us up like a single lane fire trail, like deer hunting type path up a mountain switchback. Like I went over like a small little creek or water was going over the road. I went up grass on a hill, loose rock. I've been through ice, I've been through snow. I mean, the car has gone through the whole gamut. It's like 5 inches of ground clearance, but the
Wow.
weight and the all-wheel drive is so good.
Mm-hmm.
The traction's just so sticky.
Wow.
The only time I really lost control is on the really thick ice in Washington State, and in California. There's about 9 inches of water on the freeway before they closed the road down, and there was hydroplaning, and my car actually started floating a little, but I had enough traction on the driver's side to get over.
Yeah.
Before
I
before
saw a video now that you're mentioning about that. There was a Tesla going through like all this water.
Yeah.
Is, can it do that? Like, I don't want to sound stupid or anything, but like, because I know it's electric, wouldn't that mess the whole electrical system up? Or what's the depth that like safely that you could drive one of those through? I,
Well, like the Ford Lightning, you could take that through. You could Ford like pretty high. Like the Rivian, I think is, I want to say like over 2 feet. Like a significant amount of
wow.
water on some of them. It just kind of depends on where the electronics sit and the ground clearance you have, the tires you have.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, I went through. Like I said, I've kind of gone over like a creek over like or water that had flooded out
Yeah.
a road, and I was on a freeway, in Sacramento area, and the right hand shoulder. It was raining so fast it wasn't draining, so by the retaining wall, and then the first lane and a half after the shoulder was all covered in water, and we hit that like a semi would hit it
Hmm.
and just hydroplane, and there'd be like a 30-foot wall of water that'd shoot up from the semi and
Yeah.
like hit the retaining wall and bounce back at like 2 lanes over. That's when they shut the roads down in California. Like we had
Wow.
to take a detour. We were one of the probably the first cars to make it before they shut down the highway.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Like, and then we just missed the shutdown on I-40 in Arizona. Like we were one of the first cars at the roadblock. So we
Hmm.
were one of the first cars off, and that's how we were able to plug into that Pegasus station.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
crazy. What about the reliability on those? Is there enough data to know? Because I know they just launched those cars within the last couple of years. Are they pretty reliable so far? Like, have you had any issues? Nothing, like
The
maintenance
only
wise.
issue I've had is like the grip, the O-blank handle on the
Mhm.
driver's side. The spring that keeps it up snapped, and so it's a little flimsy. So I
Yeah.
ordered a warranty replacement for that.
Wow. Yeah, I'm
That's it.
curious to see like the longevity of those things if they're good for years and years and years. Um,
I've
but
only bought Fords the last 2 decades, and I've never had any significant problems.
yeah, I've never owned a Ford. I'm more of like an import guy in sports cars and stuff. I've always just had Hondas. I had a Subaru, Nissan, uh, but no American cars,
Okay,
surprisingly.
yeah, yeah. Well, I've had Hyundais and Subarus and stuff in the past, and or my wife has, and they're Subarus are really reliable too, really safe, but you know,
Their engines aren't strong. At least I had the Subaru STI. I blew a rod bearing just driving home. I came to a light. I heard a weird sound. I wasn't even like messing around or anything. And I blew 2 rod bearings. It was
Really?
the weirdest thing. Yeah. That was
Huh.
when I was back in the military. We like went to the field. We were out doing stuff for 2 weeks. So it sat for 2 weeks without being turned on or whatever. And I just drove home and it just blew. And I never really beat on that car. It was 2014 Subaru STI. And it was like $6,000 to fix it.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, shout out to looks like we got Kit and we got Michael Knight, Antonio.
Yeah, Kit, I thought you were
Shoot
gonna
some
join.
video.
Surprise, who's watching? We got 5 lurkers in here. We got
Hey,
Shuts Hunt Videos. Oops, that was an old comment. Used cars down approximately 8%. Yeah.
there you go.
There's the guy that I follow on Twitter. I think I've mentioned it before. It's like he blew up. Car dealership guy. Go follow him if you guys are into cars and sports cars or want to know anything about like the car market. But he puts out really good tweets, information. I think the guy owns a dealership or something. His description says anonymous CEO. Let me pull it up here real quick. But yeah, he's got a good Twitter space or Twitter. Average monthly payment on a new car hit $777 in December, an all-time record. Is that what it feels like to hit the jackpot? But
Oh man.
used car prices still 43% higher versus December 2019. Let that sink in. Mercedes interiors are very outdated compared to BMW or Audi. I don't know. He just has a lot of good like tidbits of information. Luxury car market's taking a beating. Here's a good example. 2023 Audi S8. 6 months ago, it was 5 to 10,000 over MSRP. Now it's 10,000 below MSRP.
Oh wow. Yeah, the Mach-E's, like occasionally you can get lucky and see if someone didn't take delivery of an order. But most of the dealers that I've seen, at least in the area where I am, they haven't been doing markups. It's been pretty decent market, but there's some areas of the country where they have significant markups because they just don't get the inventory. But I live in a major metro and there's always inventory. So
yeah, it seems like a lot of the luxury ones, like he's saying here, cars that I won't sell without a warranty, even to my worst enemy: Land Rovers, BMWs, Cadillac, Porsche, Mercedes, Audi, and Jaguar.
agree with that. Any of those luxury brands, you want to lease those. You don't want to buy those.
Yeah, I bought an Audi. I had a 2008 Audi A4 Quattro. This was a couple years ago, and it had like 50,000 miles on it when I bought it. So it was, it was okay. I ran it up to about 93,000 miles, I think, before I sold it. But right before I sold it, I started getting these transmission issues, and everything was perfectly fine. Like, it was awesome, all-wheel drive. It was a beast in snow, rain, whatever. But it started to do this weird idling thing where every time it would start up when it was cold, it would go vroom, 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 vroom. So I took it somewhere and they said it was something with the transmission. I forget exactly what it was. It was like $3,000 to fix it. Got that done. It was perfectly fine for about 2-3 weeks. And then the same thing started to happen again. It's probably the transmission. I was so mad at this place that I got it fixed at. And I never figured out what it was, but I ended up just selling it. Like, I think, I don't remember I think I just traded it in, and the dealership never said anything about it, but whoever bought that's going to ended up getting that problem. It was such a pain.
Yeah, the only thing on that list that I've had that I could comment, I had a Cadillac Escalade at one point, and that was probably one of the worst cars I've ever had, vehicles I've ever had in terms of reliability or things breaking. But yeah, I just, like I said, the last couple decades, I more or less just stick to the Fords, and the without having the Mercury brand, the Fords kind of are pretty good, especially if you're buying like the Mustangs or like the high end F-150s, and they hold, not only do they hold their value, but they're spec'd out pretty nice. So
yeah, because I've always had the import cars and I've never had any problems except for the Subaru. But the Honda, the Civic that I had, I actually sold it a couple of months ago for $500 more than what I bought it for in 2017. I think I sold right at the top because I bought 2018 Civic Si for $22,500 out the door, and I ended up selling to CarMax for $23,000 a couple months ago or whatever.
yeah,
So
that was a hot market back then.
yeah, And now everything's coming down, so I'm waiting to figure out what I want to get next because for my family, we only need one car right now to get to work and whatever. So it's not like we need 2 cars, but I don't know. I'm keeping my eyes open. I still want to look at the new Civic Si, but I'm hearing there's some engine issues.
Man,
I don't know.
they're
But they're
not
still
rated all that great, those new ones.
the new ones. Yeah, it's like the new Civic Si is like 29 or 28.5 MSRP now. It's like, and it's the exact same engine from like the 10th gen. Now there's 11th gen. They're the same. It's the same exact engine, and like I think the power is the same, or it's actually 5 horsepower less. They just kind of like tuned it a little bit differently.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. All right. So maybe enough about car stuff.
Some people are entertained by
cars.
it.
Yeah. Schutzhund video says Xfinity has been reliable.
I think he meant Infinity.
Oh, yeah. Infinity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Infinity. There you go. And then Kit like doesn't want to come on now, man. I thought you committed to it. You'll be afraid I'd make you talk in Midwestern accent. I had one growing up, but I kind of lost it. But you definitely have that the Michigan Northern vowel shift accent is what I think they call it. But whenever I go home to my house in Ohio or visit my parents or whatever, that I can pick it up so easily. The A's or Apple. Oh my God, I can't believe you guys. But then whenever she comes on and she'll talk, I'll start talking like that after a while. You never sent a link. I did send you the link.
Sent the link in the chatter.
I swear.
Or maybe on
Kit, you have like 8 different Twitters. So I sent it to one of them. I sent it to your what was it?
I think Aragon wants the list as well.
Wait, I didn't send it to
Aragon. Yeah.
Wait a second. Oh, Eric, second that. What? You guys must have changed your name. Hold on a second. Invite. Let me see. I asked you in 4 things. All right. Well, I'm sending it to you. The Kit Baroness Twitter. There you go. And then Aragorn.
Yeah.
It'd be good to hear from you. I haven't heard from you in a long time. I sent it to a lot of the VGX heroes, ex-VGX heroes, whatever you guys want to call it. Mirthless Chud. I tried to get him on. He's at
just
the gym.
heroes. I was talking to him tonight. I ordered some more coffee.
Nice.
TallTexanCoffee.com. Shout out. I got the Vietnam Lotus, the Brazilian hazelnut, more Mexican chiapas, and a African Colossi. Those are the 4 I ordered.
All right, Six Figs is going to join us here shortly. He just sent me a DM. He's just driving home, so maybe we'll get some TA.
Yeah.
That's been a minute since we've all been together.
Yeah.
Kit Baroness, I sent you the link. Chud, Superman. Shout out to him for making these awesome coins. Tried to get him to come on, but...
Oh, I forgot to message him, but I gave some coins away as gifts for the holidays that he made, and
nice.
They were well received. So he did a great job with them.
Yeah, it's definitely like really good quality.
Yeah.
Crypto Dudborn. Oh, driving. Oh, I swear I sent you the link, Aragorn. My bad. He said he's driving home. Might be able to join when I get home. Send me the link. Oh, that was at 9:21.
It's okay. We're all having beers and waiting, so it's all good. We can talk cars and beers and whatever. I don't know.
Foodie. Our Signal group is awesome. That's like my go-to social media every day.
Yeah, me too. Like
group of people.
I can't remember the last time I logged on to like Facebook or Instagram.
Same. And it's kind of cool, like just the people that we meet and everything. I know Baroness is like talking to my sisters. I have an older sister and a younger sister, and they're potentially going to meet up in Colorado or something, which will be cool. Literally, Baroness reminds me of like my sister. Like the same, they're into the same all type of stuff. They're former military. They're into like all the mushroom stuff. So that's just cool how we all can connect, even though we like virtually in the interweb, and I don't know.
I saw that video of your sister, where they're doing the enforcement actions up there in the national forest.
Yeah, she's a U.S. forestry officer. Yeah, so she sees lots of crazy stuff. Like, she has some crazy stories, but she loves her job, so that's good. But looks like we got Aragorn. How's it going, buddy?
Hey.
It's been a long time. I don't even remember I don't even know if you've been on since before the VGX meltdown.
Some of it, yeah. Some of us kind of had to just take
Oh,
a
yeah,
break,
me too. Yeah. Ever since that happened, I had to take a couple months, get back on my feet. I mean, it is what it is. But how are you doing? Like, what's going on with you?
Yeah, Thursday nights are fun because I play glow doubles in disc golf. So
That's right.
Doubles, meaning partner and stuff, but it's glow because it's dark right now. So you put a little glow tape, a little UV light, and go out and play in the dark.
I have a glow in the dark disc.
Yeah.
Do they still sell those?
Sure. It's not like as common, so it's a whole lot cheaper, to buy a roll of tape and stick stuff on than buying your whole set in glow discs. So
yeah. Floki and I were talking about some frolfing.
Yeah,
I sent him a link
well,
too.
no, frolfing is different than frisbee golfing. So frolf is actually like foot golf.
Oh, did they okay, well, back a long time ago, it was just something we made up as a word.
Oh, you made it up?
Now it's a thing, huh?
What's it called?
Well, okay, what I'm talking about is called disc golf. And frolfing is a thing, and that's foot golf. And so that's played actually on a golf course, but they change the holes and make them bigger so that you play it with a soccer ball. And then
I have never heard of that, but here it is.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, back
in Jersey. They must have it in Jersey here.
A long time ago when I was in college, frolfing was just what we called frisbee golfing.
Sure.
But but oh geez, so there's an actual thing that has adopted the word. Look at that.
I think it's called frolfing, right? Or is it just foot golf?
Foot golf. That's what I typed in.
Okay. Either one. Maybe frolfing is the because I have heard that term. Maybe it's the old school term, Obi-Wan. Maybe that's
maybe. I mean, this was college, so we are talking like 20 years ago, but which is scary to say.
So they have a course here in Orlando that for foot golf, and I haven't been yet, but I want to because I grew up playing both soccer and golf. So
that's a pretty cool concept. I've never heard of that, but apparently they have one near me.
They even have world championships and pit championships and stuff for that.
So are these courses built just for foot golf, or do they convert the holes over for it or something?
So sometimes they build it on the golf course, but it's to the side of the holes, so that way it serves as both.
Okay. This is an AFGL certified course. So yeah, it looks like they have specific foot golf courses.
And so also sometimes they arrange it with the golf course where they just do alternate days or something like that. So, on 2 days a week, you can play foot golf on it, but then because obviously the two sports don't exactly mix.
Yeah. Live to Ride said, play disc golf like a real man.
There you go. Hey, disc golf. That's what I do play. I have the discs, but no, it's literally been forever, but that was a really fun, cheap date when college, I mean, you could.
It still is a good cheap date. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just about got my backhand up to 400 feet. So I'm just about at the intermediate level. It goes novice, rec, intermediate, advanced, and so on and so forth, above that. And pro is 2 tiers above advanced. So
nice.
Yep. So I'm better than the average Joe, but still struggling.
What's up, Baroness?
Welcome.
Well, hello. Yeah, I was in the middle of my space earlier today, and I was rubbing my face, forgot I had my glasses on, and I popped the lens out of my glasses. So I had to fix it up real quick, but I don't even need my glasses. I got some good news. I just got handed off my brand new Apple Watch.
Ooh,
nice.
So
Is this going to be
I'm
one of
opening up
those YouTube unveiling? You're going to make it.
Let's do it.
Oh, sure. Why not?
Oh, look
Let's
at
unpack
that.
this. Oh, it smells. Actually, let's
What's it
see.
smell like?
It smells like new binded, like a brand new novel. What the frick is this? Oh, there's tabs.
I've never owned a smartwatch.
I got this Ultra.
What size do you have yours?
That's the Ultra, so it's the 49.
49. Okay. Yeah, I'm not. Wait, mine's 45. I don't even know my metric system how big that thing is going to be, but I do like a large face.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the largest of the Series 8s.
I don't know if I could ever attach myself with something smart on the wrist. I'm old school. I've worn a regular watch since I was 12, actually.
How the heck? It's smarter than me. The packaging.
Cool.
All right.
Some people who have like seizures and stuff, don't they wear them because if it can detect if you fall down, it automatically calls the like 911 or
my
whatever.
family traded the flu around over the holidays for a few weeks, and I would get these heart rate spikes on my notifications, like, "Hey, your resting heart rate is up. Something must be going wrong." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm starting to get the flu. No kidding, you know." It's kind of funny.
Do I have to charge it first before I start wearing it or activate it?
Not usually.
Well, it's pretty
Probably
dang
like that.
cold. Yeah.
Have you heard about those bands? They aren't watches, but they're bands that I think deaf people can use, and it translates the vibrations like into words and sounds.
Oh yeah, they have the Cleoka. I'm gonna say it right, not Cleoka. It's Cloaca or whatever. They're now Bluetooth, so if they're playing music on their phone, they can hear it in their head. It's really cool because usually when you're at work doing customer service, you get in trouble if you've got headphones in. They got theirs all the time. Which is really cool too, because one of my associate people I went to school with, I seen them working at Home Depot the other day, and they were almost fully deaf in both ears, but they were talking to me, and I could actually hear their words instead of just they went to like a lifelong speech therapy courses, but nonetheless, she's like, "Yeah, I hear you perfectly fine." I'm like, what? So I can't talk crap behind your back anymore. She's like, she's really cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
So tell us how'd your Twitter Spaces go? You were doing some type of Web3 like question.
My
Q&A.
Twitter Space theme is Web3 Starter Pack, where let's unpack this together, and is introductory to all the stuff. That's the topic that everyone's like echoing, but they're talking crap most of the time. So this time it was UI and UXs, or what the differences between the two were. Had a few large company influencers that came in, and they're really cool. And it just made me nervous because if I have more than 20 people in my spaces, I get super nervous, and I had over 140 at the time.
Oh, wow.
So I wanted to just hide.
Tonight you did?
Yeah.
That's great.
awesome.
Yeah, usually I run my spaces about an hour, 15 minutes, hour and a half, depending, so I can do my clipping for my podcast. And once
you have a
what are you eating,
podcast?
Aragorn?
What?
Yogurt.
Yeah, you can type in. Nice. You can type in Web3 Starter Pack on Apple Music. You can iHeartRadio, Spotify, all those fun stuff. And it's just one of those things where I don't edit too much because I can't stand the sound of my voice.
You should like
it
your
is
voice.
weird hearing yourself through a different medium because we all sound different in our heads, right?
Yeah.
So
Have you ever looked into the science of that? Why?
No.
Fascinating.
No.
No, don't you know? Well, someone else who has a similar accent but not as hardcore, we got him joining us here. Six Figs.
What is up, family? Good to see
From
all of you.
Minnesota. He's from Minnesota.
Yeah, Don't you know?
He's got the
Don't you
Moss
know?
jersey.
I'm
So
about to take a hot dish out of the oven here in a second. So
Nice.
no,
How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I hope you guys are doing well. And I missed out on everything here. I've been kind of driving around this evening, so yeah, man, I'm just glad the last few weeks have been like a little bit of a relief rally just for everyone's sanity.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know how much we could take.
You mean it's
So-
not down only forever?
Right?
That's literally
That's
what it's
kind
been.
of what it seemed like, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so,
you didn't miss
Obi,
much.
how do you turn this on?
Hold down the two buttons for like.
Is this your
5
first
seconds.
Apple Watch?
Yeah. I
I've never-
have the
Or maybe just
what do you call it?
the
Fitbit.
larger button.
Oh, okay, the big button, the dial, and there is a button. Okay.
The button below it, the app switching button.
Okay. Hold it.
Yeah, you
Mine's
didn't.
always
It's
on,
on.
so I always forget how to turn it
Yes.
on.
There you go.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyone want to guess what this Christmas gift is?
I have very not nice things to say after hours.
Same.
Oh my god.
So
Is it a
An
finger
adult
spinner?
section toy.
it's a book page holder, so that as you're
What?
reading, you can have just use one hand to keep it open instead of having to have two hands.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
so it's the finger. It spreads the spine of the book.
Let's see it in action.
Exactly.
Nice.
I gotta
Yep.
see it.
Keeps the pages spread apart.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm super picky. Like I'll just sit around reading books and like I'll tear the like the outer cover off them, and I always hate like trying to press and bend the seam. And
Yep.
man,
This
I got something for everything.
Yeah, and it's super smooth wood, so it's just like it also acts as kind of like a fidget toy as well whenever you're not using it. So
Yeah.
it's that teak wood or whatever that has like that
Sure.
really smooth feel.
I was gonna say it almost kind of looked like a fidget spinner or something.
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
know?
I mean, I'm kind of using it like that.
Yeah. That's cool.
Nice.
That is cool.
That's cool.
All right. So, what do you guys want to do?
Well,
Man.
these are still
I don't have
my-
to work
my
tomorrow or
favorite,
the next day.
my favorite Christmas gift right here. My favorite
Oh,
Christmas.
there you go.
Albanese peach rings.
Albanese.
Oh yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, those are
Those are
good.
the best. We definitely had those in the Aussie licorice for the road trip.
Oh. Do you get that? Are you the cherry kind of guy or the black or the what is it? Black licorice?
I hate black licorice.
We
I'm
did
always
both
strawberry.
actually. We did the
Oh,
black
okay.
licorice and the red vines and the Twizzlers.
Okay.
So I had
Yeah.
all of them.
That Aussie
Well-
that Aussie licorice is like the best.
It's addictive.
Man.
You can like
Oh
eat a
my
whole
God.
bag of it.
My
Do you
gosh.
like Annie's, like the flavoring with mussels?
What is it?
ANISE.
Anise.
I haven't heard of it.
Anise or anise?
Anise. Yeah.
Yes.
Anise.
Yeah, it's kind of in like a high concentration, tastes like black licorice, but in this low dose with butter and garlic with mussels, it tastes delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. I was gonna say, isn't that a seasoning? Like what
Mhm.
are you putting it in? Yeah. Okay.
Seafood.
On YouTube, have you guys these recommendations? Have you ever seen Vidoka Ryan? He does interesting liquor or alcohol combinations. So, but he does like infuses stuff for like a week at a time. So he could be like, warheads in like brandy. What is it going to taste like in a week? And so he just like, and he does tons of shorts. So it's actually really easy to watch. He spells like Vidoka weird or vodka weird. So that's his name, Vidoka Ryan. So look it up if you're ever curious to see what tastes good out there for crazy combinations.
If you're
Warheads
ever
and-
in the states where every gas station holds liquor, you ever notice that they have like a bulk of gummy bears or weird little candies? That's what it's for. Just all the kids. Well, illegally, allegedly, would be buying up as much vodka cheap as possible and then just buy a bunch of candy.
Yeah.
They only sell beer and liquor at a liquor store in New Jersey. I miss Ohio because you could just go to anywhere and get it, gas station, grocery store. But when I moved to Pennsylvania, New Jersey area, it's just weird. There's beverage stores in Pennsylvania. There's liquor stores in New Jersey, and you have to go to those places. So there's like not many. Like I have to drive 10 minutes to this one place. Like I can't just go to CVS or wherever and get it like I used to or in Florida.
When I moved to Texas, it was weird coming from a state where you could buy it anywhere, going to Texas where I had to drive like a couple cities over to buy liquor. Because where I lived was just a moist city, which is beer and wine only. If you wanted liquor, if you wanted you had to go to a wet city, then you had to go to like where they sold.
My
liquor.
sister, that's her. She hates that word, Baroness. By the way, if you go
Moist.
yeah, she's just
You owe me a Coke.
Jeez.
Yeah,
it's just the one sister, right? Not all of them.
The older one, the one that's in Colorado.
Yeah. Okay. So we're. All right.
Yeah, they might meet up. Six Figs. Just we all just are friends. Baroness and my my older sister.
I'm keeping tabs on Airborne Sisters. He got a little bit disgruntled, so he waited to give me a link.
Okay.
I swear, no, because I went down.
They're
I
awesome.
went down my DM list and I started just throwing it out there, like the StreamYard link. And there were some people that replied, some didn't. So
I
might have just
literally
I was like 5 different names.
Well, no, I was okay. So you too, because on your Twitter, I sent you a message on the chat channel here. I was the first one in the chat in the comments, and I said, I need a link. No response. I'm looking at your face. You're looking at your screen.
When I did the
still
market
nothing.
Whatever.
And then I sent it to your DMs on Signal and individual chats and Discord. Nothing.
Yeah. I can't multitask.
No, it's all right. It's late. I mean, it's late for me. I'm not sure about you guys, but it gave me a little bit of a break between the Twitter space and now.
Well,
yeah.
I got to ask Six Fig about what he thinks the Vikings' chances are.
Oh, they're toast now, man.
Oh, did they play already?
Yeah, they got smoked.
I'm sorry.
Out.
I didn't mean to open I thought they hadn't played yet.
No, that's okay, dude. They got blown out, man, by the Giants, and it was to be honest with you, I didn't even watch the game, and I had other things going on. And it's just typical of the Vikings, though, that they would have a halfway decent year and then just kind of scrub it all at the end. But they're done.
I'm sorry. My Seahawks are done too.
Are they?
Yeah, I watched 2 games, and I for some reason I thought Minnesota was this week. I thought they had a bye.
Okay. No,
who's left?
Yeah.
I don't even pay attention to football, but I think since I'm live near Philadelphia, I think the Eagles are still in. Right?
Eagles are in. There's quite a bit. The Steelers, okay. We'll have to start cheering for them.
Yeah, I grew up. I mean, they're obviously not in it this year, but hey, they're building. Now that it's the era after Big Ben. I mean, it's hard to replace a quarterback like that. So, but we feel pretty good about Kenny Pickett, quarterback. So they won 7 of their last 9 games or something like that. So they really rebounded this year.
Shuts Hunt says, "How about them Cowboys?" I don't know.
So
are they still in?
They play 49ers, I think.
49ers are good, really good. But
good game.
Hey, Cowboys are good too. So
who do you guys think is going to win?
Man, it's
whole
beyond me.
Probably the Bills, but I mean, from the NFC, man, Cowboys maybe. I think the Cowboys can beat the 49ers.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. I mean, we're a month out till the Super Bowl, just a little bit more than a month out.
What is it, February 5th-ish? Let me see.
What is it?
I'm going to be curious about the crypto commercials if they're going to have any this year. You all remember the ones last year? Oh my God.
I don't think any of the companies can afford to run commercials
right
this year.
Coinbase is like, we're
Yeah.
working in the background.
Yeah.
We're
That'd be
building.
funny. That would be funny if they did do something funny to make fun of because they're still around or whatever. I don't know. So it's February 12th is the Super Bowl. But wasn't that Coinbase's commercial was just the QR code that was bouncing around? Wasn't
That's
that theirs?
right.
Yeah, last
Yeah.
year. Yeah.
It's
I
funny,
like the
remember
FTX
that.
commercial with Larry David last year. I thought that was great, but the it made me laugh. But you know,
I like that one too, but the thing is, I just don't like him.
oh,
Nobody does.
I don't know.
He's still
It's just
tweeting. He's still tweeting. He's like he tweeted something today about thinking that FTX.US is solvent and it's going to come back. How I thought he was in jail.
No, he's
mm,
chilling
No,
at his parents' house.
he posted bail.
Nah.
So.
He said, "I'm glad Mr. Ray is finally paying lip service to turning the exchange back on after months of squashing such efforts." And then I responded, "Bullish on you paying lip service in prison."
I saw that. That was funny.
God, you just can't make that stuff up. How could they turn it back on? Like,
No.
And then
there's a few $1 billion hole.
And then wasn't there who's trying to start another Doquan?
The 3AC guys.
Another
3AC,
company or something? That's absolutely insanity. How is unless they have dumb investors that don't know anything about crypto?
Yeah, it's
I wouldn't be
Suzu,
surprised if
Kyle
it's fun.
Davies, and some other people trying to start a different exchange.
Yeah, that's going to be
GTX.
interesting. That's right.
Yeah, just run away. Just like run away.
Yeah.
Self-custody.
Instead of FTX, they just renamed it GTX.
GTX. Yeah, it sounds
like,
It's-
is this
it
going to be
sounds
like
like
FTX 2.0? It's like
GTX. It sounds
it's
like
like
a
the-
car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds like a car. Not to be confused with GMX, the exchange on Arbitrum, right? Like maybe they're trying to capture confused people.
we got a comment switching the page a little bit. Obi-Wan, are you voting to opt in on Section 5 of the Voyager buyout? Sorry, I'm late to the party. And I haven't been paying close attention to this. I mean, I don't know.
No.
I mean, I don't know what's going on with Binance. If the same shit's going to happen that happened to FTX, we don't know.
No, I'm not opting into anything that's going to potentially give lawyers more money.
Yeah.
It's creating like a $60 million fund for them to, waste time trying to recover money that they're not going to be able to recover. So I'm not opting into any of that stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm in Texas, so I'm just getting cashed out or whatever.
that's right. A couple states or whatever that don't have the licensing or whatever, they're just going to get liquidated within 6 months. They have, I think, if they don't.
Yeah, unless the state plays ball and allows transfers. But I mean, whatever. I've turned the page on. I for the people that have the ability to take possession of whatever assets, good on you. But for me, I'm just kind of, given the circumstances where I am, I'm just like, if you're in Vermont or Hawaii, Texas, you just kind of like take the money, whatever's left, and figure out the taxes and call it a day.
Definitely.
I wish they would just sell like all the crypto or whatever and just cash everybody out. Just move on. Like, man, I don't know. Yeah, these lawyers that are just milking the situation. It's it's sad. I'm sorry, guys.
I wouldn't opt in. And the other thing too is like, what are you going to opt into? You're going to opt into them giving lawyers the ability to go after people that potentially like retail clawbacks or something? Like, that's stupid. Like, what institutional depositors or wrongdoers are they going to actually be going after? They already went after Steve, and he's like, oh, he got $1 million in liquid money he gave to this state. Is like, okay, so who else are you going to go after? The people that under him with even less money, like.
Voyager has never won like abundant in cash, and the people that they were even involved with, it's not.
Yeah, it's just like, let's just not give the lawyers anything more, and maximize the estate's returns. So there'll be a wind down entity after the sale, where the 3AC recoveries and whatever is left that the lawyers don't get, that'll eventually go back to shareholders as well, or customers. But I wouldn't opt into anything that gives away value.
And that's a comment I get a lot whenever I do Voyager updates, whenever I feel like putting videos out about Voyager. But people comment, what about the shareholders? What about the stock? Is it just point, like, what's going on with that? And I don't know. I don't know.
They pretty much end up with zero, from what I understand.
Who does end up with zero? The shareholders?
The shareholders. There's not going to be anything left over to go because they come last.
Same thing with the VGX token. It's like
it's even got me thinking, like, about my stock investments. Like, almost everything these days when a company fails is a Chapter 11, and some of them continue on and some of them don't. It almost makes me think you're better off buying junk bonds, or corporate bonds, because at least then you're secured creditor. If you're a common equity holder, you get completely screwed. So, like, for example, if you wanted to invest in Coinbase, like, you're almost better off buying a bond than you are buying the share, because you're going to buy it for cheaper, and then you're going to be ahead of the line if they, for some reason, don't make it.
Yeah, man, I had my doubts about them the last 4 months. Just everybody saw the FUD on Coinbase, and I was like,
fizzled away.
Are we going to see that?
Did you guys watch the documentary about that? I actually watched that, the Coinbase documentary, Brian Armstrong. It's pretty interesting, hearing his story and how he came up and everything. Did any of you guys watch that?
No, but I've seen a video on the early days of crypto that they were in, kind of showing how they started the company really early. But I don't know if that's maybe what you're talking about, or
he had a co-founder dude that, like, they were like best friends, and like then one day they had someone come in and was like, no, there's only got to be one person that's going to run this. So he left. He started this other crypto company or whatever. It was pretty good just to kind of like hear the backstory about Coinbase or whatever. But he seems pretty legit. I mean, they're American publicly traded, so they just got caught up in all the hype of the 2021 bull run, and they overhired and they had to cut people and all that type of stuff. But I mean, only the strong survive. So who's going to be left? You got.
That's the only exchange I have funds on.
But
I have some stable coins there waiting if we get a Bitcoin drop here, which, I expect, even if the Fed says, hey, we're going to pause or we're going to pivot, probably going to have that dump like we usually do before it gets better. Give everyone that, hey, load the boat moment. And that's what I've got my buy the dip money sitting around for.
Yeah, it's good to have buy the dip money sitting around for sure.
Yep.
I mean, man, it'll be interesting to see what happens here.
Do you guys think that we've bottomed out?
No,
nobody ever can tell.
It's a good question.
I mean, even if Bitcoin might have, but the altcoins are still got a lot of downside, in my opinion, because these centralized exchanges or institutions or people that are underwater, because of how concentrated the venture is in crypto, they've got a lot of stuff to unload, and that'll just drive the altcoin market down even more. So I do think crypto will probably lead equities, though, in terms of kind of front running the Fed. It's usually about a quarter ahead of the equities market.
Do you think we'll have like a mini bull market like we did during the last bear market, where we had the bull run end of 2017, everything dropped for a year or so, and then we had that little fake out that kind of pumped up, and then we went down, and then the halving happened, and then boom, 2021 took off? That's what I think. I mean,
no, I don't, because the macro environment's different, and part of that was the COVID crash. Like, it was taken off, and then COVID crashed it further, and then it reclimbed. So the circumstances are different, both the macro, the pandemic, I just kind of have to mentally purge my mind of any prices that we saw prior to this year, because there was so much contagion and leverage in the system that, you know, those prices are a mirage. I really need to kind of reset the mindset.
Yeah. UT Snake Eyes is asking Six Figs. I just want to know what kind of camera Six Figs has. It's such high quality. He gets that a lot whenever he comes on.
I get that a lot. It's you know,
it's
it's just
insane.
this like a cell phone, man. No, I'm just kidding. It is the Canon 6D Mark II, and right now I've got the 50 millimeter lens on there. It's I think I'm shooting at like what, f1.4, but
It's
I've got another lens set up like across the room with like a better zoom lens that sometimes I'll swap the cameras back and forth.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just
Yeah.
try to switch it up a little bit, but yeah, it does a great job.
Even some of the other big YouTuber or crypto YouTubers, it's not nowhere near as clear as yours. I think they just use webcams like we do, just regular. I got a, I don't know, Carl Zeiss. I think it's like a C920 Logitech or something like that. But
have you ever tried the NVIDIA or their streamer console? Because their settings, they automatically blur out the background that you already have and give that effect. And, you know, it sharpens everything else. It just has a little bit of integrated AI to it for augmenting.
That's cool. Yeah, no, that is cool. No, yeah, it's yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at the screen. I mean, all you guys look, I mean, your pictures are all very nice. But I don't know, maybe it's something maybe it's something looking at it on the phone or whatever. Looks different. But
cracking open that what was that?
It's a Imperial Milk Stout from Lakewood.
Okay.
The peanut butter.
Peanut butter?
Yeah.
Nice.
You gotta try it. How is it?
It's good. Oh, it's really good. I can tell you it's good. Yeah.
Have you ever tried the are you a whiskey guy, Obi? Have you tried the that peanut butter whiskey before?
Yes.
Yeah, that's why.
Was that the sheep one or?
Yeah, there's a sheep one, and then there's another brand too.
There's a lot of them.
Okay,
but yes, they're all good.
Yeah,
I like all of them.
So what do you do? Do you just drink it straight up, or do you mix that with something? Like how do?
Shot.
It's so smooth. I mean, it tastes like it
actually sounds really good right now,
dude.
I had some. If you put ice in it or water it down, it tastes like crap.
Yeah, no, that's good stuff. Nice. Reminds me of that that flavor kind of reminds me of this winery down by where Crypto Airborne used to live in Florida. They had all those different flavored wines and unique flavors.
That was a cool experience because there's not many wines or wineries in Florida, but there was this one out. It was like the Sarasota, Bradenton, Siesta Key area. You drive out. As soon as you like start driving towards like central Florida, it's just there's nothing, literally nothing. But there was this winery that we went to with my sisters and Six Figs when he came down and visited one time, and it was cool. It was like our own little experience type of thing. Because I think we were the only ones there, right? I don't remember anyone else that showed up. It was literally out in the middle of nowhere, but they were open. But like they gave you like a whole wine experience. They had all these different flavored wines you could try. It was pretty cool. And I'm not into wine or anything, but it was cool.
No, I'm not either, but I was drinking wine all that night.
Yeah, I miss Florida, Aragorn. I'm trying to get back, but it's just freaking expensive right now. Still coming down a little bit, but I don't know. I'm looking at the I don't know if I want to move back to the Tampa area because it's so overpopulated compared to when I moved there in 2017, but I'm looking at the East Coast now, like Jacksonville, St. Augustine, Cocoa Beach, somewhere around there. Because I know you're like Orlando area or something, right?
Yep. Which Orlando's perfectly centrally located. You can still enjoy all those places.
It's like a 2.5 hour drive. I forget what it was from
what
is it? Two hours. Yeah.
It's only an hour 15 to Tampa.
Yeah. I miss the warm weather all the time. Always sunny. no state income tax,
Well, I won't describe
lower
what
taxes.
the country's like right now because it's very
Yeah.
nice.
New Jersey's the worst state I've ever lived in. I hate it.
Bro.
Taxes, property taxes. I don't get the veteran benefits that I did down in Florida. It's just, for at least me personally, it's just a no-brainer to live either in Florida or Texas or Tennessee. I've been looking at. I don't know, but I hear Texas, like,
places.
yeah, your Dallas area is growing. Is it like? I feel like that's like kind of like how where I used to live down at Sarasota. It's really fast growing area. Is it the traffic pretty bad down in that area, Dallas now? Or I mean, I guess it depends because Dallas to Fort Worth is just it's like an hour drive, I think.
I don't think it's too bad. But I'm coming from one of the worst traffic areas, so yeah. Snake Eyes, I'll hang out.
Yeah. He's
but
never doxed himself yet. He said that one day back in the day that if he was to dox himself, he would. I think he came on a space or something. He's doxed his voice, but never video.
Yep.
But he's somewhere, I think, out by you.
Yep, he's over in my area, in neck of the woods. But you know, if you want less traffic and a little bit slower pace, the Fort Worth or the Mid Cities area is less. But I think the traffic's actually worse when you get like Plano, Frisco. Then you know, Dallas itself isn't too bad, and there's public transportation like the DART, so that you know I take the train if I go downtown, so doesn't even bother me.
I imagine Snake Eyes to be just like the character Snake Eyes, like horribly disfigured, and he's gonna have to go in public with his mask on.
Well, I've got my Obi-Wan. So,
your Obi-Wan's disappearing.
I know I can't with the background, you know,
like the Force.
Yeah, so there we go.
Well, I'm gonna get my action figure too. It's Hank, actually.
Nice.
There we go.
I'm sure his lightsaber's around here somewhere, but you know,
there we go.
One day when I get to hang out with Snake Eyes, we can put our little character guys by maybe like a draft version of it. Yeah. Oh, nice.
Do you guys like my Snuggie, my adult size Snuggie? Like
I heard they're pretty comfortable.
Are you just loving it?
The kids got it for me. Well, I can take my headset off, but
yeah, those are sweet. I've wanted one of those.
They picked it up for me because I have a space heater back here, and the furnace doesn't actually heat up, so I hide back here with blankies, and everyone makes fun of me.
Blankies.
There's no shame in it. No shame in it.
I hear you.
What's the temperature out where you guys are at? Michigan? I wonder what's colder, Minnesota or Michigan right now?
It is raining, a little bit moist at 41 Fahrenheit. I'm looking at my weather scanner right now. It's going to rain starts soon.
Here in South Jersey, it is... What is it here? 46 degrees.
It's 47.
My very awesome headphones. Thanks, Snake Eyes.
Actually, no, it's not.
I got 26 degrees here. Tonight, I get down to 21. Not bad weather. I could actually sleep outside. Minnesota. So,
what do you win? I mean, was there a prize? Like whoever's the coldest?
No.
No, I think Aragorn wins. He has 69 degrees in Florida. So.
Is that what it is there?
Yeah.
69, 420 or 69?
Yeah.
It is after hours.
It is.
Yeah.
And I was just around a bunch of disc golfers, so that speaks for itself.
Yeah, we talked about that earlier. I
don't even smoke, and I feel like I probably got secondhand high. Is that how it works?
Have you ever heard of foot golf 6 figs?
Foot golf?
Yeah.
No, I can't say I have. Is it just like as it sounds?
Yeah, it's like a golf course, but they make the holes the size for a soccer ball.
Oh, okay.
That's the thing. I heard it first tonight, but apparently there's some courses around here, but I don't know. I got to check it out.
Can't knock it till you try it.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at golf, so I wonder if you could still get a golf cart for foot golf.
You can.
Probably.
Well. Hey guys, I got to run here. I got to get the little one into bed here. But it was great to catch up with all of you. I hope you all have a wonderful night, and take care. And hopefully get to catch up with you all soon.
I
All
hope
right.
your
All
ears
right,
are
we'll see you
burning.
guys.
Thanks.
Yep, bye-bye.
Later.
Take care.
All right, hour and 15 minutes in. You guys want to call it a night or what?
I'm good.
I don't really have anything to talk about. It's the
We can carry it over.
the bear market blues. I actually have 13 people watching right
You know,
now.
I actually don't mind the bear market. Like, it's building, learning, cheap prices. You get more for your money. Like, it's not so bad. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a small
me
fish,
crazy.
so I switched up my tactic, and like I used to split, some of my money in like a tradable account and then others in like retirement and stuff. And whatever I was allocating towards crypto, I am only putting it in, my I Trust Capital account and just maxing that out, so that way, so that leaves me five now that we're up to 6,500 that I as a single can put in a year. That's 541 a month. So I think right now I'm, buying maybe because they offer staking on DOT right now in beta. So I may be putting like a fourth of that in DOT that I'm just going to stack during the bear and then unlock it, and sell when it gets closer to bull and stuff. And, at least 4 or 5x, my money from that. And then the rest just, whether it be in like Link or Bitcoin or Ethereum, some of the staples, so that's just playing it safe now.
Snake Eyes is buying heavily NFTs, Marvel and Disney. Bear markets are opportunity if done right.
I mean, that's
I know.
smart.
Yeah.
I solely agree on that one. Right now in a bear market.
Vivi or Omi or whatever those were mainly on.
Ecomi,
probably something like that. Yeah.
I'm buying Bitcoin miners on the cheap. And I'm buying miner stocks, I should clarify. MicroStrategy, CVS, Costco, Johnson & Johnson, Ford, Tesla, Bitcoin. So all that stuff. Yeah. Quality equities. And then, when the market flips and energy gets depressed, I'll buy some energy stocks. And then I'll sell out of some tech stocks next time things start showing the patterns where it's time to start exiting some of the growth again.
How do you feel about the new narrative?
Say again.
Airline stocks? No, I avoid airline stocks. The airlines borrow. They're too debt heavy, and they yes, they get bailed out, but their margins aren't stellar, and they're not going to be able to keep these high prices forever. And I avoid them. I don't love necessarily being in auto stocks, but I'm a Ford loyalist, and I like the dividend, and I like what they're doing with their electric move. And Tesla's, kind of like buying an ETF of an energy company, a mobility company, and a data and AI company all rolled into one. So you could argue they're overvalued or not, depending on how you view the value of some of those future things. But I still think it's right now it's actually pretty good. But Mara, Riot, but Hut's the one that I go the deepest on in terms of the Bitcoin miners is Hut. And then MicroStrategy is great because it's like buying Bitcoin with a little bit of fiat yield because of the software company on top of the Bitcoin holdings. So that's why I like that one. And CVS, people are always going to get sick and need meds and shots and everything, and they also have a little bit of a moat because they own, they had insurance and they have a little bit of retail traffic with the stores. So there's kind of a good combination there. Teladoc services. So they're kind of in buying a stock. They're one of those ones that has a good moat, has a good one. And then of course Costco is just perennial, like well-run company that, goes up forever.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the things I've been doing a lot of research on is the stock market, because what I've learned from the 2021 bull market was don't put all your eggs in one basket. I was heavily into crypto, and I didn't really have anything to stock. So now one of the lessons learned is you know, trying to look into a lot of the stocks that you guys have mentioned and whatnot, just to diversify more.
Yep. And I counter trade, right? So when energy stocks were low and, you know, they were negative barrel oil prices, you know, that's when you wanted to buy energy, right? And then now energy got high, and then now it's probably a little bit, you know, overweight. So when that rotates out again and the money goes into the tech and the growth, I'll probably scoop up the cheap stuff, right? The growth stocks will be undervalued, and that's when you buy the growth stocks, or SCHD, the Schwab high dividend fund. It's got a low cost base. It's a good value one to buy. And then, but you know, most of the money goes into indexes, but there's a few supplemental individual stocks that are there for you know, profit taking.
Yeah, there was one or two stocks that I saved the other day. I forget where I heard it, but it was a pretty decent one.
I haven't rotated back into Disney yet, but I have to go look at that. But Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, those ones are so overweight in all the ETFs. I have a few of them, but just solely to take profits on. And then the ones that are beat down right now, that are kind of interesting too, that are pretty high value. I like Block, Jack Dorsey company with the Cash App and Square. Netflix is beat down pretty bad. They're starting to make some good moves. And then AMD and NVIDIA in terms of chips, and, you know, AI is in robotics and you know, mining rigs and all that kind of stuff. That's not going to slow down demand wise anytime in the future. And they're massively discounted right now. So when we get that inevitable Fed pivot and the market goes down another 20% or so, because that's, if it does what it historically does, that's when I'm going to swing in and go heavier on those chips.
Gotcha.
So you guys might find this interesting. Some of you know that I work for a Christian missions organization, and over the holidays, I actually got to meet with a wealth management fund, and they're run by Christians. And so what they are actually doing is they are making a fund like an ETF, but of Christian-run companies. So that way, it can at least provide Christians, or at least those that want kind of a faith outlet in their, you know, financial choices, instead of just trusting the system, you know, in whatever basket of funds that those go to. It's similar to how, you know, some people might not want to choose into sin stocks and stuff because of like the ethics or the morals, that sort of thing. So this Christian company is creating that. So they're so for example, like one of the companies is like a lumber company in Nigeria or something like that. But part of their proceeds, part of their business plan, like goes towards funding, like building local churches, you know, there. But then the rest of their proceeds, they split like a dividend with the investors in that fund as well. So yeah, I found it interesting in that it's not just, you know, the Christians are looking for the charitable funds that you set aside, that like, you know, tithe or the 10%. It's how to use the majority of your funds, or at least a bigger portion of your investable assets, instead of like a write-off of sorts. So
yeah, that made me think of Saifedean's podcast I listened to earlier today, where he had a guest on that was doing the anti-ESG, like Strive or Stride. I can't remember the name of the company, I think, but anyways, it was about how ESG is a scam and how they're, you know, trying to get out of people voting. People are investing in all these ETFs in the market, and then these companies and governments get to play God with, you know, the morality of what's, you know, governance, social, you know, environmental, and they make some odd choices on what qualifies. And if people would had individual investments, you probably wouldn't choose it that way. So things like, you know, Stride or Strive, and then what you're talking about are kind of counter to that big dollar narrative and vote. So I think it's kind of cool, kind of passive activist investing, if you will.
Yeah. They went from just this past year, they literally just started, to now 50 million already assets under management. So, you know, went from nothing to something, you know, already. And went from, 2 staff, the co-founders, to now 22 staff. So they're looking at, if they grow at the same pace, I might be able to apply for a job with them. But my position with them might be more of like, I'll say like a fringe position. I would want to be more like investor relations, and obviously any kind of company that's further out on the growth scale, because you still want to get the core of your business, whether it be like financial advisors, engineers, you want to actually increase your assets under management, and the cultivation side of things, such as investor relations. Yes, it's important, but it's not the core part of the business. So they're still in that core growth stage. And then I think that's what I would be good at, investor relations, because it includes elements of marketing, which is my background, but also just how to cultivate this new generation of investors, because this new generation of investors is drastically different from boomers. So we want to I'll just say Gen X or millennials want to give more towards causes, or they also want to be a little bit more community oriented, or know like other people on this journey with them, instead of just like, yeah, I trust my financial advisor. It's like, no, we don't trust anybody. So we want to like be kind of a little bit more hands-on with things. So I think I could be a rep of sorts for them.
Speaking of Nigeria, that's an interesting one, because India and Nigeria are the ones that have the population booms and a lot of natural resources, and are kind of those, they're intriguing to me from an emerging markets exposure play, but I don't really know of any companies or funds that the reliability of when you leave the U.S. market of investable assets is suspect at best. But they are intriguing in terms of a diversification play, kind of going to where the manufacturing and population booms of the next couple of decades are going to be. And for sure, the India and Nigeria have my attention, but they have to prove themselves worthy of building something worth buying, kind of like some of the stocks on the China side the last couple of decades, or Japan before it. But right now, I just don't trust non-US equities.
Sure.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is fascinating. I like we can talk about all this stuff. I know Airborne wanted to talk about VCs and things at some point, but
yeah, let's do that here in a second. I'm gonna go use the restroom real quick, grab myself another drink, and we can talk about that, and then maybe call it. Thank you to all 10 people watching. Smash that thumbs up button. But no, I actually want to get in a good topic of discussion here about like who owns all these crypto companies, the media, all this type of stuff. Because one of the things that I think of is like BlackRock. BlackRock has their hand in literally everything. BlackRock owns 10% of any other ginormous business that you could think of, Disney, whatever. But when you think about the crypto space, what 4 or 5 different companies, firms own or have subsidiaries in whatever exchanges or whatever? And I did the video and I talked about it the other day. I don't have it pulled up. Digital Currency Group they have 5 subsidiaries. They own Genesis, which all the crazy stuff that's going on with them right now. They have Grayscale Investments, CoinDesk, Foundry, and Luno.
Yep.
And I do have a chart of what their portfolio is. And I brought this up with Obi the other day in the Signal group. But just what exactly they own, how it kind of like has an effect on the total crypto space. And if this, chapter 11 that's happening, will that even have an effect on the crypto space? But like, kind of like the thoughts of what you guys think of these massive firms and investment companies and how they play a role with the markets type of thing. So something to think about. I'm going to be right back. But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I definitely think the whole 3 arrows thing with, Voyager, and you're on mute, Aragorn.
I said, don't spoil it.
Oh yeah, no, I won't spoil it, but it's just kind of how all of these the interconnectedness of this particular space and young industry is
incestuous.
Yeah. Oh,
so
yes, definitely, Snake Eyes. Reach out anytime. Absolutely.
So
Good
you
night,
guys will
guys.
find what?
Oh, we were
I
just
was just
saying,
saying good night to
Snake
Snake,
Eyes is headed
guys.
to bed.
I'm trying to set up my Apple Watch right now, and do I have to go through every single app and discover and have it tell me how to do it?
No.
Keep hitting done, and that says get to know your watch.
Oh, just you can get through the tutorial. Excuse me. On my iPhone, I have an Apple Watch app on my home screen. I click that, and that's how I set up my the faces and the, what do they call those things? The shortcut buttons, the hot buttons, the complications is what they call them. So I choose which apps I want, which notifications I want to be getting on my wrist. Or if you just want to mirror your iPhone app notification settings, you can do that. But I highly recommend turning off the notifications for non-essential apps, because then your wrist won't be buzzing and you'll get better battery life.
Well, it should be on, depending on your focus, different times of the day. I have, I don't have my own Apple Watch. The kids do. I always had the Fitbit because I never wanted to spend the money on myself. But of course, the kids always want something that's more expensive.
Sure.
So this is my Christmas present.
No, it's great. I like your Snuggie. Actually, it's better than a Snuggie because it's just an oversized sweatshirt, really, right?
It is, and it has a hidden pocket. So it has like a hoodie main pocket in the front, like a kangaroo pouch. And that has, once you put your hands inside it, it has two more pouches, one for a phone, and you put your hands inside them.
That's great.
So it's a hidden pocket. But yeah, like, go ahead.
I was saying, have you ever
did he
have
just
you ever
freeze,
turned?
or did everyone freeze?
No, he was hopping on, so it probably froze it. Are you good?
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Baroness?
Baroness froze.
Yeah.
No, that was my
Whoa,
face.
that was weird.
Oh.
No, I was just staring. Sorry.
So
froze. You were like,
I've seen this hack where you turn your hoodie around and then turn the hood into a popcorn pouch.
Oh my gosh, I've seen that too. Oh, I put my hoodie on backwards and my shoes backwards so I could actually like scare people. But
oh man!
All right,
right before you hop in, I was like, you guys, it would be too sad to bring it out, but everything bad crypto related, I've just put in a bag and put it into my closet so that I don't have to see it like around the room or whatever. I haven't like gotten the heart to like throw it out or whatever yet, but it's just one bag of stuff.
I don't even have the Voyager app on my new phone.
Yeah, I never re-downloaded it or logged back in. I feel bad because some of the people in the community are like messaging me like, have you seen this? And I always ignore it, and then I finally just message them back like, please stop sending me these kind of things. So like long messages like, oh, blah blah blah. I'm like, no, I just don't want to see it.
So one last question. I months ago, whatever, maybe even over a year, 2 years, I don't know. I think I remember actually, because I was trying to consolidate my accounts at the time, I actually deactivated, I think, my Binance US account. Ironic now with this coming up. So I'm like, do I just message customer support and reactivate? Because I assume it might flag things if I create a separate account. I've never gone through, like, is it possible to reactivate an account?
I would be safer than sorry. I've had the problems with creating an account like my Fold app. The phone number that's associated to it, I deactivated a long time ago, but because it was used previously, I'm locked out.
Yeah, so probably best for me to message them.
I lost so much of that. What was that Stanford thing? Pi network.
Oh, yeah.
When I changed from Android to iPhone, I couldn't transfer, even with the seed phrase, couldn't transfer to the iPhone. Like I transferred between Android phones just fine, but some of it was tied in with your mobile number and your other stuff. And I could never, even reaching out to support, I'm like, I've got my seed phrase. I switched from Android to iPhone. I've got my backup. Like, why can't I recover my wallet with the same phone number and the seed phrase? I should be able to do that. And I just said, oh, the hell
They
with it.
are very active on Instagram. Like every time I log into my Instagram or check my profile and stuff, I always have that reminder pop up like, hey, go mind my pie. So I continue doing it. But they actually respond.
Yeah, I had thousands of pi like saved up over multiple years. So I was really like ticked off. I'm like, this isn't how crypto's supposed to be. Like, I have my seed phrase. I should be able to, I haven't changed my number. I should be able to recover my dang wallet,
I hope that goes somewhere someday, because I think I got like 22,000 or something.
Yeah,
I probably only got like 20.
I was so early on that thing and got like tons of referrals early on. I got a lot.
I'm gonna have to, like, if that ever happens, I'll get an Android phone and recover my dang wallet on Android.
Is it minepie.com? Is that it?
Yeah.
It's worth $87 right now, up 7%.
No. You're on the wrong thing.
I mean, it doesn't have anywhere to sell it, but I mean, it is up there.
Yeah.
In terms of
there was a boost where everyone was advertising just that. What's the value of Pi? But unfortunately, because they don't have Pi, their token actually available on any DEXs or exchanges in general, that there was somebody that, because you can actually spin up the same symbol ticker of any token or coin, but it's a different chain. And it was confusing people, and they were doing a huge pump and dump.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Speaking of pump and dumps, the market is, after Voyager, the 3AC, the FTX, and all this kind of stuff, you always kind of knew like how much contagion there is or how much interconnectedness there is. Obviously the centralized lending firms were very incestuous. There was 6 or 7 counterparties that did the whole market, right? And once they started falling like dominoes, the whole market went down. But you've got another form of contagion in that the crypto, the non-Bitcoin cryptoverse out there is still super highly concentrated into like a half a dozen or so companies, right? And they control the crypto media. They control the projects being built, because they're funding them all. They're mostly California venture capital firms. Airborne was just touching on DCG.
Yeah,
and how they own
DCG.
Genesis, which was one of the big lending desks that enabled the fintech. They also have the Grayscale trusts that are trading that the SEC won't allow them to convert. So that's a huge one. But they also own media, right? And CoinDesk. And then you have a couple of other big players that are just like DCG. You've got the Consensus Group, the former, tied into the Ethereum Foundation, former founders, and Joe Lubin. Then you've got Andreessen Horowitz, which is a huge tech venture capital investor that has now gotten into the crypto, verse. Multicoin Capital, Pantera, Jump. Like, it's a very isolated group. And then you have Coinbase Ventures and Binance Launchpad and Binance Ventures, right? And they own the media like Cointelegraph and CoinDesk, and
it's almost manipulation.
Coin Market Cap and Trust Wallet, and it's just almost every like altcoin that's out there that's had any kind of funding comes from these half a dozen or so venture capitals, right? And those are the large big boys, and then you've got some smaller VCs, but they're that's the whole thing, is like none of it's decentralized, right? The concentration of wealth and early investment is all in these large groups, and they control the news cycle, right, to a large degree. So they can pump up the price with news, or they can kind of play both sides of the market, manipulate the price, and then when their coins vest, they sell them and they exit, right? So it's highly centralized and highly scammy, and the SEC's done nothing about it. And this is the problem, right? Is like you either play the game and try to capture some of that money that they're play the whale games, if you will, or you kind of just say ignore it and just Bitcoin only. And my life has become a lot less stressful, just kind of just saying I'm going to focus on Bitcoin only. But you know, when the hype train comes rolling around, there might be a handful of things I might speculative trade, just to make some more money for stocks or Bitcoin profits. But knowing how these things are interconnected and who might be doing what and what, you know, what thing that they've invested in and when that vesting schedule hits is pretty key for knowing when the pump and dumps are happening. And I think the consumers are getting smarter about this, because things like Aptos, which was, you know, supposed to be like Solana version 2, you know, they kind of, a lot of people caught on that it was a VC pump and dump, and it hasn't really done much, which is great. But you know, if you go to like what you have up there, Airborne, in terms of like the sheet of what's in their portfolio, or you go to multicoin.capital/portfolio and you start looking down the list of, you know, the Algorands and Audiuses and
what was some of the other companies? I'm curious. I want to look at their portfolios that you were talking about the other day. What was one of the other big ones?
So Multicoin Capital, it's multicoin.capital/portfolio, and you can see their portfolio of assets. It's a very long list. It's, you know, it's a lot of Ethereum and Solana protocols and dApps, and you know, there's some in the Cosmos verse in there too. You know, Avalanche is heavily financed, but they get in these seed fund roundings, right? And so they have usually a huge allocation of the early distribution. So some of the places I like to go to find, hey, which things are going to get pumped by these VCs and which ones aren't, and when do their tokens vest? My number one tool for kind of looking at that information is Messari.io.
I've heard of that. Yep.
Yeah. Wow. And then you can look at, you know, under the profile of each asset, you can see who the investors were, how much of the tokens are allocated to each of the, you know, the founding team versus the public sale, the private sales. So like here on Messari, here, do a little exercise for me and type near into the top right corner. This is a sharded, you know, layer 1 network, right? And go to the profile tab on the top. And then on the left-hand side there, you can see contributors and investors and token economics. So right here at the beginning. So now you've got all these organizations. You know, you see Alameda in there, you see Coinbase Ventures, you see where the contagion is now, right?
Oh, this is good stuff.
And if you click on one of these, like Pantera or Multicoin, they're all in here, right?
Yeah.
You can kind of get a feel for what is, it even shows you on Messari if you scroll down, you can see their investments. So that, like that page that you're just looking at, you can see a whole bunch of what's going on in here, right? But if you go back to that near example, and you go to not the investors, but the economics. So here you can see it's what the token is used for, and underneath the launch and initial distribution, which is the next sub menu. Look at these private sales. So these private sales are when these institutions get in, right? And that's your startup money. And that's where a lot of the coins get allocated. You know, you got your Series A and you've got your private sales. Before it even gets to the market, you've got so many tokens leaving for so many dollars, and you can get a cost basis on what did these VCs actually pay for near? Were they paying $1? Were they paying 20 cents? You know, what was the average?
Wow, this is some good stuff.
Yeah. And then you can look at the supply schedule, which is the next screen, right? And sometimes they'll give you a pie chart, and it'll say this is how much the VCs own and the team owns. And then here you see the token distribution and the different breakdowns of those pre-sales and versus how much the core team owns versus what are staking rewards. And they'll have a vesting schedule, right? So you can hover over those lines and you can start to see when these tokens unlock from these pre-sales. And that'll give you a really good idea about if the market's hot, when the price is going to dump. Because if the assets are worth more than they bought them for in these pre-sales and the tokens become vested, they're going to cash in their chips and may take their profits, right? Yep. So these are I love going through Messari and profiling companies.
I'm gonna have some fun tonight looking up a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you for this. I've heard of Messari, but like I didn't know this detailed you could look into like the investors. Oh man, this is good.
So I have my criteria of evaluating investments.
Yep.
And a lot of it you can get from here. You can get the economics model, you can get the token schedule, who the contributors, investors are, what's the network usage, what's the fully diluted value versus the existing market cap value. All sorts of great information. And then you click on here and you look at things and you're like, oh well, Alameda was heavily invested in Solana, but they were also into Serum and all these like tokens that were on Solana. So the whole ecosystem is basically run by a VC or heavily owned by a VC.
What do you click on again after you look it up? Is it
profile?
And then
There's good information in those other tabs too. I highly recommend looking at them as well. But this has got most of the background information you would ever need to know about most of these companies.
Wow.
Yeah, you'll see 3 arrows in Alameda. The tentacles are deep, right? So those companies going under, or if DCG has an issue where they end up going under or jump, and any of these players go under, you can look at these coins and you're like, okay, these are gonna plummet, like Solana plummeted, right? And then I like it when you get these pie charts and you can just see how undecentralized these are, or how centralized they are.
So help enlighten me. So when it comes to bankruptcy, right? Alameda bankrupt, or any 3AC bankrupt. They're bankrupt of their liquid assets now, but whereas some of these are locked, right? Like for now. So eventually they still own it, but then they become unlocked at a certain point, and then they might dump. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, exactly. So say 3 Arrows still has a bunch of tokens, let's say of I don't know, let's say Luna, right? Well, they or they have locked up a bunch of Ethereum and Ethereum staking, and they needed to dump the liquid staking token from Lido, or they're waiting for the ETH to unlock. They might have assets that are illiquid because they can't transfer them, but they still have value in the estate. So, but the estate would then have to comply with turning the assets over to the creditors, and that's where Zusu and Kyle and they're not haven't been playing nice, right? Same thing with like Alameda, who's in the FTX bankruptcy. They could still have significant assets in Serum, for example, which is an exchange like a Uniswap on Solana, and as part of the the bankruptcy, they could be forced to liquidate their tokens for their USD value to repay creditors. And if that happens, then yes, a lot of these are going to plummet in price. And that's why one of the reasons why you saw Sam and now CZ trying to really kind of buy the Voyager assets and protect the consumer. Because what happens if these just get liquidated by the court or Chapter 7 and they get massively market sold off? You're going to dump these tokens 20% plus, which lowers the value of what they have on their exchanges or volume that they're probably going to miss out on, right? But even more so, it could potentially cause insolvencies if some of these asset prices tank, and they don't, the whole analogy of the tide going out and seeing who's naked, right? So like when FTT token started tanking, FTX went under. When the Cell token went under, Celsius went under, right? Because a lot of the market cap or the value that these companies have that they're using to borrow funds from each other on are oftentimes their own tokens. That's why I'm super skeptical of any overseas offshore exchange that's heavy in tether, that offers leverage, that has their own token. Like, these are huge red flags to not keep your money there. That's Nexo, that's KuCoin, Crypto.com, Wobi, insert name of exchange. Yeah. Almost all of them kind of follow the same pattern.
Did you see Nexo's announcement today? Was it? approved by the NASAA or something like that. I haven't looked into it, whatever, but on the surface anyways, it seemed like, oh, they got tons of permission across like the US or something. I don't know. It might be worse.
ANSI, the American National Standard.
Well, the SEC's gone after them hard, and they don't have proof of things. I mean, they have an attestation. And even some of the audits that are going through, the auditors like, we're not going to audit crypto anymore, you know.
So paid 45 million, I think, today.
Yeah, I haven't looked at any recent news. I'm going off of kind of like the pillars I was just talking about, though. Like, I wouldn't, if you offer a token and you offer lending and you're offshore,
huge red flag,
because of the contagion that's spread across the whole industry with everyone borrowing off of another. Right? It's like fractional reserve banking. You know, most of the money, almost all the money that exists in the world is debt. Right? So it's a bunch of IOUs trading hands and paper trading. The underlying assets in the amounts that people think they own aren't there. So massive amounts of insolvency still exists within the ecosystem. And this is why, in particular, the altcoins are going to suffer the most, because you're seeing the exchange volume drop rapidly for Bitcoin, people moving things to self-custody, and they're not leaving Bitcoin on exchanges. So the exchanges and lenders that are insolvent against the paper Bitcoin that they've lent out, right? I think that one of the estimates recently was 30 million Bitcoin are being traded, but only 19 million exist. You know? So that's a major problem, right? It's a major fraud. It's a major lending contagion risk.
So is lending going to be unexistent for the next bull run? Is it like impossible to even lend, like, because it's been such a catastrophe pretty much? Like, can you even legally lend with such high interest like we have? Like, it's impossible. It's because what we saw or saw.
Yeah, it was fraud.
Okay, so then regulation comes in, then what happens?
Regulation comes in and says,
go back to like the traditional.
These particular assets are unregistered securities. They issue cease and desists, and the exchanges like Coinbase and other places have to pull them, and face fines potentially. And so, you know, if it's a non-registered security classified as a security, they're going to have to go through an approval process with the SEC, getting security status, paying their fees, doing their whole, you know, assessment and all blah, blah, blah. You know, there's a whole process and it takes a while. But that's going to decimate the altcoin market, like absolutely wreck it if that comes through, because the US market is where a lot of these VCs are from, and it's where a lot of the money is.
So are
they're going to dump, right?
Yeah. Is there any safe altcoin then? It goes back to Bitcoin. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. There's about half a dozen, maybe 6 to 10, let's say,
Cardano,
proof of work out there that are commodities: Bitcoin, Litecoin, Bcash, Doge, Ravencoin, Digibyte. Like, but there's not a whole lot more than that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a bit disconcerting because, like, USK with Kajira, and they're collateralizing with USDC, a derivative, that even though it's decentralized, using a derivative of centralized token, that still would not work. I mean, you're basically, it's like spending a fiat that's centralized to enter into the crypto space, but instead you're using a USDC.
Yeah, well, what if they go to Circle and say, you know, you got to shut off the coins that are on the Cosmos ecosystem, or IBC or Kujira, and then Circle complies?
Yeah.
Isn't that what Vanessa talks about? She likes the Kajira or whatever. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah.
Is she affiliated too as a contributor? Not a builder or a content creator, but she's just like some sort of like a advisor team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, are you going to bed? What?
No, I was asking a question.
Oh,
He's
okay.
trying to
Go
ask you a
ahead.
question.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I was saying, have you guys read or heard about what might happen with GUSD? You know, the Gemini stablecoin. Basically, they're trying to figure, will it be treated differently because they have reserves for GUSD. So whereas like the rest in the earn program and stuff, it may be, you know, separate, but they're trying to make the case of, hey, we claim this was backed one for one, therefore it should be treated different if they go the bankruptcy route. It's quite fascinating. It may set, you know, a precedent depending upon how that is handled.
Well,
In
wouldn't it be
the Celsius case, they're treating stablecoins like cash too, which is interesting.
Yeah, wouldn't it be pretty much the same? The claim of the backing of like Metropolitan Commercial Circle, you know, the USDC backing by an actual fiat, but yet when it comes to the crypto space of the brokerage licensees, that you know is treated separately, but anything that was rewarded in likeness is still going to be held, and yeah, they're going to hold them accountable. But I was reading something about what was it? 10th District Court. Was it the conspiracy doctrine of 1991 statement was just talking about one of the protection acts that people are through non-affiliations, like you can't be held accountable for affiliations to these bankrupt associations. So if you're General Exchange or not partner but working under an umbrella account that's just everybody else is a customer and you are a customer of them, that you don't get hurt through the affiliation by it.
Okay. So in context of stable coins, you're saying that the protocols using the stable coins don't get into some stickiness if like Circle or Silvergate has an issue with USDC?
That they'll be treated separately in that form. Yeah, I don't have the document in front of me, but I was doing some Q&A earlier, but it was more or less not just for stable coins, it was just crypto as a whole. For example, like Yuga Labs with their Bored Apes that were dubbed as security, all the rewards with ApeCoin because that's a security, and they're going to get hit hard, so they moved overseas and got associated with Multiverse X. And I was just worried, like, oh no, because they did some form of partnership, how that would affect liquidity and, you know, other investors onto the chain. And I was seeing how that would actually not necessarily, well, I was overseas, but for United States purposes, that would not go with just be held accountable through the affiliation.
That's interesting too, because in terms of compliance, Multiverse X is one of the most centrally compliant layer ones out there. You know, they own TwizPay, so they've got the blessing of 3 European central banks. They purchased UTK, which is a crypto payments provider, and hold the licenses there. They have separate app chains or shards, right, for, you know, business capabilities. So they have connections with the French regulators and government as well as the Romanians. So it's in terms of like any of the regulatory compliant pro business, pro government type chains, that's a little bit one of the ones that's a little bit more. I feel it has better chances of surviving than a lot of the other ones out there.
So what about XRP? So how does XRP play into all this? Like, how is XRP compared to Multiverse X with the regulatory centralized stuff? Is it because it's a United States thing and it's not overseas, or what?
Well, XRP, the network or the asset itself, is fine. It's the Ripple Labs is what the lawsuit is. So it's Ripple Labs that is fighting with the SEC. You know, if anything, they go after Garland House and Larson and, you know, the founders than they would the people holding the asset. They may say that it's, you know, if the SEC wins their case and it's deemed a security, then it's going to have to go through that registration process in order to be listed and traded in the United States, right? So, you know, right now most of the exchanges pending the lawsuit have pulled it. and it's very hard to trade if you're in the US. So imagine that for all the altcoins, where they all kind of get paused or pulled.
Right. Wow.
This is why I don't buy altcoins anymore. Stocks and Bitcoin.
Wow.
Yeah, taxes are going to be a fun topic to discuss among ourselves.
I don't want to be depressed in that. Let's avoid the
Oh my gosh.
I already am trying to push the date further.
Yeah,
I'm going to file in
I sat
August.
down. I tried to do it because I just got my work W-2. And I was so sad when I got started. I was like, this is so much harder than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I'll take the 20 to 30% federal sales tax or consumption tax, and get rid of the IRS. I'm for that.
Oh,
Yeah,
I had
saw that.
It won't ever pass,
silly,
but I'm for it.
Yeah.
silly tweet about welfare system versus the Social Security system, and everyone was saying, was it the OB? Not OB. Just a unilateral wages. So everyone across the board gets the same amount, and I was like, what? Like, welfare system's so bad. I'd rather Social Security, and I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. I was looking at U.S. debt clock earlier today, and it was just like, we have to pay basically for every person that's working and earning income and paying taxes is basically supporting three citizens, right? Yeah. So it's quite depressing when you look at it.
Don't even.
Yeah.
Well, on a somewhat similar topic, do you guys think, and again, we don't have to get into the specifics of these politics, but do you think the Forward Party will have any chance like this year round, especially if Yang or the universal basic income or whatever, just because people have now seen what debt looks like, and just maybe you're like, let's try something different. I don't know. Like, what's your take on will this party make any kind of dent this year?
I would love to have a multi-party system as opposed to a duopoly system. But they need to get rid of the First Amendment protections against the super PACs and the way that the campaign financing is done, and you need limitations on terms, and there's so many things that we need from a fundamental level that all parties agree on, that if we just fixed, I think a lot of the party nonsense would get fixed as well. But I mean, I use this analogy, but it's like whether it's the left wing or the right wing, still attached to the same body, the same airplane, going to the same airport. Doesn't matter which wing you're on. You're on the same plane.
There's the OB-isms.
Yeah. So, whether the plane's leaning left or right, it just makes for a more uncomfortable ride. But you're going to the same destination, and that's Fed Coupon Town. So
yeah, I think part of it, from let's say you go to the booth, whatever the voting thing, I think a lot of it just comes down to having the option, the listing. People are simple creatures in that they have simple choices. They will pick simple answers or whatever. But if you introduce more options, it'll be like, So, and some of the states, actually a lot of the states, it's incredibly difficult to list or get the funding required to list their party or candidacy. So.
Yeah, it's because the parties have all the money and the fundraising, and the amount of fundraising required to actually win an election is immense. Like half the politicians' time spent in office is actually fundraising and not actually doing what they're supposed to be in Washington doing.
Fundraising from SBF, right?
Yeah. It's all connected. Money makes the world go around. I would love, like I said, I tend to usually vote libertarian, but I'm very, very independent. Like if I did of one of those surveys, I'm usually just left or right of center. But it's one of those things. It's all nonsense. It's all a scam. You have to uproot the contagion from within. You have to make. We have the technology moving forward to kind of fix all these problems, right? If you get rid of you get rid of the super PACs, you get rid of the First Amendment protections on the whole, contributions and these organizations that just suck all the real democracy from the process. You get, put limitations on people that are supposed to be public servants, term limits, make sure they're making an appropriate wage, that they're not investing in individual companies and inside trading. All these things
And
that
Nancy
everyone's
Pelosi's
for.
Twitter.
Yeah, make blockchain voting a thing. Make it easy. Everyone should be able to vote from their phone with cryptography, with the identity that's been validated by the state.
Yep.
Period.
It's so corrupt.
And
it's
rank
so
choice the
corrupted.
voting. Not one person from one party wins. Make it consistent across state, local elections, and federal elections, and then you have a true multi-party system, a ranked choice system, without all the corruption.
It's easier said than done. I mean, look at what we're doing currently, like what we're advertised and what we're willing to, give our attention span for television. People don't want to sit through an entire lecture, but they will end up going through that. Look at the paper, just read at face value that one paragraph describing a proposal, and then for blockchain, looking at I don't want to throw the Dow of Juno, but it's pretty much poop because things aren't being pushed through because everyone's reading the proposals and they don't know what to believe and what not to where they're abstaining or they're just saying no and pushing it further and further for agenda. And
because they can't reach a quorum because they don't have enough participants.
Yeah.
Well, delegated proof of stake is its own problem of governance. But yeah, a lot of the governance in quote unquote decentralized or DeFi or decentralized crypto isn't really all that decentralized to begin with. I mean, you have a better form of voting in terms of, you own an asset, you vote with your money, your capital, per se. But, they're not all created equal. There's different flavors of proof of stake. So.
Yeah. The only thing like a good example of what an NFT could do, that's your voting card. Once you vote by burning it.
Yeah, well, I mean, Terra used to have a pretty good system of governance. I mean, delegated proof of stake aside, like there was a forum and there was a vote and it would get discussed and then people would debate it and then you'd cast your vote with your wallet, right? Or you're technically your validators because you're delegating your vote to the validators. The validators vote on your behalf. Not too dissimilar from the electoral college system. But if you were to vote like on a protocol, like Mirror protocol, like back in the day, for example, like if I wanted to list a synthetic version of Disney, I would log in with my wallet and say yes, no, or abstain. And then once I click yes and I pledge those assets to that vote, it's done. It's on the chain until that vote is over, which usually took 5 to 7 days. That was a pretty efficient way of voting. People would rally if it was something they really didn't like, and it was looking like it was going to pass. You'd see like this flood of people come in and vote and vote it down. So there was some form of active governance, but even just most of those proof of stake networks, very few of them actually have on-chain governance to begin with. And the ones that do, because of what we looked at earlier with Airborne, the voting power is usually highly concentrated in these institutional venture firms. So it's like how the top 5 or 6, wallet holders or VCs, how they want things to go, they have all the control over it anyway, which is why they're not decentralized. There's an illusion of decentralization, but it's not real decentralization, even if you have on-chain governance.
I just want to say, Eric Barn, I'm so happy to see you. It's been a while, about over 3 months, and it looks like you're holding up that wall very well.
I always get confused. You say Airborne sounds so similar.
Right?
Whenever with the VGX Heroes, whenever we did like conversations, I always got confused, but I knew what you were talking about.
Man, guys, to sum it up, again, not to make this about me, but the past year was hell. Not even crypto, like personal, the last year was the roughest year of my life. I had, increased job responsibilities, overdue stress, all this sort of stuff. And I've been the type of person that I can, if anything, I keep taking on because I've always been a high capacity person. It finally caught up to me and I finally snapped. And I just had to step away. I was even granted 3 weeks hiatus from work because I had my first bouts of depression ever. And that was weird for me to even get used to being okay with myself working through that process for the first time. So I had all that happen. And then a week ago, found out online that my girlfriend of 6 months cheated on me and was already in a relationship with another person. So no closure on that front, the whole 9 yards. And so I was like, what? But, so yeah, the past week has even had its, so I've learned even a whole lot about grief. And again, that was an emotion that I have never been super familiar with. And so I didn't have an answer. I'm normally, I think, the type of person that I'm compartmentalized. I can go to this bucket for this advice, and I had answers, but I didn't anymore. So the past week has been just about that. And I finally wrote some stuff the other day, and a lot of people on my feed found it like really encouraging for their walks through grief as well. And so that's sums up. If you're interested in what the grief journey is like, feel free. We can talk about that, some other time if you want.
I don't even know your handle anymore. Twitter has screwed up my feed so much that I can't find my friends unless I know their exact handle. I can't see Twitter spaces unless people message me with the actual link. It's just so screwy. Yeah. Well, on the plus side, though, I'm now got my alias made since they transitioned the bird's nest to the Twitter whatever watch. That my account's been transitioned over, but I lost all my normal features.
I've noticed my Twitter, the algorithm is way different now within the last like 2-3 weeks.
That's fair.
There's all these fight videos that like are, it always says like, you may like this. It's all these like street fight videos, probably because I find them interesting. But like now like, Twitter is recommending all these like fight videos of like, they're like, it was like people defending other people and like street brawls, like and it's just totally random. I've never had any of this on my feed ever before, but now I'm getting like all these you might like, and then it's like street fights. Totally never had this before. It's just, I don't know if you guys have you noticed your Twitter algorithm? I don't know if it's kind of like TikTok now. It's trying to.
Have you cleared your cache?
No.
Have you gone into your settings and made sure you logged out of all your previous sessions and devices?
No.
Go do that.
Okay. For like Twitter, I guess, or just in general?
In general, but yes, for Twitter, because after you're done, like change your settings and have the, just to get started, just go ahead. Log out of everything, your sessions, clear your cache on your browser, your computer, your phones, and start fresh. Because what you have is your cache the cookies will just generally get an idea what carried over from Google or from your TikToks. And then it just keeps feeding them.
Yeah, it's mainly Twitter where I watch them. It's like all these like, there was like this old guy getting dragged on a street by someone, and then there was like these people that saw it, and then they went and beat the crap out of the guy that did that.
But you watched it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's
the thing with these ads. It registers how long you viewed something, or if you quickly scroll through it. So you caught your attention. It's going to keep doing it to you, and it keeps catching your attention, and you get sucked into this little endless loophole.
And it's getting annoying because there's not much like Twitter stuff, like content, or not Twitter, crypto content, like it usually was.
Yeah, Airborne. So while mine hasn't been necessarily that way on Twitter, also probably because I haven't been as active on Twitter, it does that to me though on Facebook. So what I've realized is I don't watch these types of videos, but again, these certain types of videos are popping up, and it's either dash cam stops, like stuff about, but it always has to do with inciting violence of some kind. And this is my conspiracy. I think it's that, I mean, big media is pushing or using this to bait people into watching more or getting angrier, or like, because
That's
it's
a great
preying
point.
on those emotions, because it gets people reacting, it gets people like commenting and further engaging
engagement.
in it.
Yep.
So you know what I do? Every time I see one of those, I don't even watch it. Because you can easily tell what type of video it kind of is. I immediately like flag it. I mark it, and I don't even care if I'm reporting it for some various kind of whatever, but I'm like, I'm going to screw with your algorithm. Take that. And
well, I agree, because literally it's just been within the last week, maybe last 2 weeks, and like it caught my attention. I was interested, but now it's getting annoying. It's like I don't want to watch it. I get the point now. It's like, you know what I mean? So I'm just scrolling past it now, but literally my feed's just crypto and these weird street brawl videos or fight. Like it's annoying now because they're pushing it too hard now on my feed.
I can't remember if I think it was either Floki or DJ or somebody. We were watching like these slap videos where like they have this competition where
I saw that too today.
Yeah.
That's
hit
popping
someone
up
really
too.
head in the heart, and it's like a contest that's officiated and everything.
Dana White. I don't know if is it Dana White, you know, the UFC guy. He's starting this new slap thing going on, because that's been starting to show up on my Twitter thing too.
Yeah.
And
It
there was
reminds me.
It was a compilation video, and the first slap, the guy like was like eyes rolling back in the head, and he was like went into like a seizure. The next one was this like other chick. She got down and she like tried to fight it, and then she did a somersault. And that showed up today. These slap videos.
It reminds me of like the
comment section
satire.
They're like, I can't believe they're doing this, because it's getting people talking, like you were talking about. It's causing commotion. They're like, this is immoral. What is Dana White doing? Yeah.
Yeah, you remember when they did like I challenged you to a duel, like the old Life for Brian skits, Monty Python. It's like a slapping, and then also no, it wasn't Monty Python, but similar British humor, and he takes off his chainmail and just slaps him really hard, like challenge you to a duel, and knocks him out. But funny. Yeah, these stupid videos, like remember last election year we had clowns, and then we had all these other stupid stuff, like people on the streets getting punched challenge and knocking people out or dying.
I don't remember any. I don't get these things in my feed. I don't know anything about this.
Well, don't even talk about it around your phone, because it will pop up.
It's probably picking up what we're talking about now. So then after this stream, if your phone's nearby, you're going to go on Twitter.
You got to get a new phone now. You got to.
I did not change the settings on the stupid Apple Watch, but I did turn off its listener, but doesn't mean it. Gosh darn it, guys.
Hey, the Apple Watch is fun. Like, let me know. I've just got recently into the Apple thing the last like 4 or 5 months. So like, I'm just learning.
Put your wrist up, Obi. I want to see. Yours is you have the 49-inch. Hold up your wrist. Okay. I can see the size compared to your wrist, because I got the 45 and I think it's still a little bit too big.
Well, remember, I've got like 8.5-inch wrists and extra large hands too. So
it's the width of my actual wrist, and then the band kind of goes over.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember in like high school and stuff, you're like, hey, you go to a random kid, if your hand's bigger than your face, I heard you get cancer.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Or you do the strength contest, and you pull like against each other, and then like let go. Have you ever done that?
Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Oh gosh. Yeah. You know, YouTube and TikTok and stuff, those challenges, like before they were actually out there, those were the original ones. Sure. It was fun.
Oh, speaking of which, I don't want to change the subject too quick, but about these weird things going on. So at least in my neighborhood or my area, there was my wife was upstairs one day. I was down here in the basement, whatever, on crypto Twitter, doing whatever, and she heard a bunch of kids outside of our house, like talking or doing something. So she went outside, and they were playing this weird game of like some type of extreme tag, but they all had face masks on. And she thought they were like doing something to her house. I can't. What's the name of the? Have you guys heard of anything like this? It's apparently real popular. The police department just put a notice out in this area that
Oh, she's busting out the Kavari flag. Bird mask, right?
Yes.
What was it called?
Yes. I'm wondering what type of mask
purge,
they were wearing.
right?
Like
The
the
purge
purge.
flag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
they were
type of-
wearing like weird
Oh, the
masks.
batteries work.
She was saying.
Mhm.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, there it is. My ears are gone.
Kavari mask. That's funny.
See,
Yeah,
this is-
well, it's
this
like,
is-
I'm gonna do a Sun Zoo.
Wait, did you
like,
used to play
that guy's
flashlight
for
tag
his-
back in the day? We used to play flashlight tag in the neighborhood. Like you
Oh,
run around
yeah.
with a flashlight looking for people, and
I
Yeah.
forget what they said they were playing. My wife, she asked them, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Oh, we're just playing something." And then all of a sudden, she got paranoid and called the cops. And they just, I don't know, because behind us there's like woods, so they just ran off into like I don't know where the heck they went. I went out there later and I didn't find anybody. But it's like some type of extreme tag thing where they hide in trees and they just go anywhere. They like other people's property and stuff. But it's like a big trendy thing that's been happening lately. I don't know if
yeah, it sounds like old school flashlight tag. Just it's
Yeah.
fun, you know.
yeah,
That's creepy, Baroness.
that happened.
Well, it's this or the beard, so I gotta bring.
That was the
something back
weirdest
here.
one ever when he did the beard thing.
Half the
That was
the
like,
NFTs
this
that I
girl's
own are
crazy.
Kavari NFTs, and they look like the dark face with the lights and stuff from the Purge or whatever.
I feel like with the kitty cat ears, I'm Cheshire. You know, they're
Yeah, Cheshire cat.
Cheshires.
All right, guys, I think I'm gonna cut it here. I still have to go back and get timestamps, and it's midnight. Close.
You do time steps for the community hang?
Should I? I don't know. I don't have to.
Oh, I don't.
It's gonna be very generic. I'm gonna skim through it because I'm not gonna sit.
I would
here
just
for
put
2
in
hours.
the handle.
Because what I remember, the good things, the Messari thing, I'm definitely gonna talk about that. That was very good content
Okay, I guess like
about that. Other than that, I mean, people.
yeah.
There's gonna be
Think through
5
what are
people.
the topics that you enjoyed, like takeaways and
Yep.
educational content. But yeah, other than that, don't go crazy with it.
I like talking about Apple Watch and cars. So
Yeah, the
whatever,
car
or
thing. I liked
clocks
the car
or-
conversation in the beginning. That was fun. And I don't know. I'll just do a couple, but nothing too crazy. But I really appreciate you guys all tuning in tonight. It's been over 2 months. We used to do these every Friday or Thursdays. I mean, it's just been a crazy year, you guys know. Now that I'm in the logistics field, like Amazon prior, don't work for Amazon, but another company. So now time's slowing down. I get more time. So I'm going to hope to do a lot more of these, at least once every 2 weeks. I'm trying to, just to, keep us all sane, especially during the bear market. It's good to connect with you guys and whatnot. So I really appreciate you guys coming on. Obi, you have any last thoughts or anything?
I like what you said. I love having the hangouts and catching up and talking about whatever. I like not having an agenda and just letting conversation flow. So it's fun. Yeah.
I think
Aragorn.
next time we
Or
need
Baroness.
Knight Rider on. He's been
Yeah.
hanging out.
Boosta's been pretty active, at
Yep.
least on my crypto and everything. So Antonio, you willing to come on next time?
He's in the chat all the time too.
Yeah.
On all the other apps and stuff. So, absolutely, he'll come on.
For sure. Aragorn, any final thoughts, words?
Like,
I know you got your tough shit going on, man, but you're gonna get through that. Like, shit happens.
Yeah,
If it's not
I'm
meant to
gonna
be,
have
it's not meant to be. It's a shitty situation.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to knuckle down for the next couple of months. Some other stuff, good stuff, but like I'm definitely I'm not gonna be online and stuff as much. So I would say one thing to keep in mind on the side, what do I want to build, aside from crypto and stuff, but like where do I want to funnel those energies and stuff into now? I'm not going to make it readily available on Twitter and stuff. This is going to kind of be my pet project and just kind of see where it goes. But I'm thinking about starting a blog on finances and stewardship, like specifically related to like Christian living and everything. Like what does Christ call us to, and being like a good steward of our not just finances, but just stewardship in general. Ownership, similar to many of the topics, OB or whatever that we've kind of talked about. So. Yeah, I used to write kind of in the back of the day, and now I'm thinking about getting into it, but more specifically with this vein line of thinking, because everyone that I talk to is like, you talk about this stuff anyways, you might as well write about it. So I'm like, oh, okay.
Document your journey, man. That's just like this YouTube channel that I have. Like I'm not making any money on this, but you have something like my kids. I have a 2 and a 4-year-old. If I ever pass away, God forbid, something crazy happens like that, they can go back and watch these videos. I mean, as long as YouTube's around or whatever, but just document your story. If it's something that you like, you enjoy, your passion, like me, just do it for fun. Who knows what's going to come of it? Like if it takes off, you can make a little bit of money doing it, then so be it. But I mean, I agree. If you're into the writing, the blog thing, and people are telling you to do it, just do it. Just try it. Like it's not, like, who cares what other people think? Just do it. Yeah. Baroness, any last thoughts before we go? Let's hear your crazy. I'm not crazy.
Well, I am crazy, but you guys are my kind of crazy. Not trying to get too sappy and all that crap. Like you were saying before, it's like, oh, well, it's much harder to, or
yeah,
like, I get nervous.
Project you're doing that the mushroom project. I'm interested in that. The site is in. I mean, if you want to plug that for the 3 people listening, but.
Fine, I'll plug it. Sure.
How's that going? I've never started an NFT project. There you go.
That's what I was doing while I'm listening to you guys chit-chatting and so forth. And that's why I like the Hangouts, because we're just present like family in a room. Don't care what the other person's doing or even interacting directly. But it's going all right. I mean, I got to create by hand individual files to reference to. And like for every image, I have to create a JSON file for the meta, and then I have to create its unique identifier and blah, 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 blah. And then, make sure everything matches on the contract correctly. And I can leave my certain open ends so I can actually utilize utility maybe in the future. But I'm trying to use this project as my entry point into not just creating NFTs, but borrowing the tech per blockchain so I can actually cross.
What are you building on?
The Cosmos IBC SDKs, and then I'm going to work on Solana because they're most compatible, and then I'm going to switch it over to Polygon, which is Ethereum based, and then try to get it on Elrond.
So can you make that interoperable? I guess, is that what that is?
I don't know. My biggest thing is like, it's not for the money, but what I'm mainly working on is the idea of cloud computing with a PBX box for switchboards, which in layman's terms is a voice over IP system. So you hear about name services with your wallet addresses. So I'm trying to create a voice over IP number associated to not just say the wallet addresses, but people can self-custody a phone number off their own server and choose to turn it on and off, because their mobile phone or computers can act as a hub or the node itself, and they can enter onto decentralization or a centralized node.
Gotcha. I guess you talk so tech for me. That's
I'm
way
trying.
beyond me.
That is Eli 5. Explain it to me like I'm 5.
Exactly. KISS. Keep it stupid simple for me. You know me. I'm former infantry ranger.
That's like Derek's favorite thing to go to. Tell me like I'm 5, Obi. Like,
yeah.
There's a lot more to it.
It's a mushroom project. These are photos that you've actually taken, and then you're like, are you altering them? Are you editing them? Like,
I am using AI through the main medium is photography, real life. I do a lot of foraging. A lot of people in the space are thinking mushrooms are psychedelic and all that fun stuff. And I just like the idea of this bioscience associated to the network effect of mycelia, which is creating the original resource for a basis to build off of. It's almost like a truffle will attach to in a mutualism relationship with a bush. You kill the bush, the truffle dies, and vice versa. And if you, let's say a fungal spore on a blockchain is the bush, and I have one here, fungus does not doesn't reproduce through sexual organisms. It has to find a pair that's equal in its genetics, and allows them to talk. So it's like Avatar, if you ever watched Avatar, and they talk to the trees. And
is it like that Netflix documentary? The mushroom. What's that mushroom Netflix documentary?
I don't know, but there's a lot of symbolism. Yeah. I have a lot of symbolism in the idea of using myceliums as my NFT project, because I like to forge the real
Fantastic
photos.
Fungi. Have you seen that?
I think my spouse watched it to go to sleep too.
It's pretty. I mean, it's interesting. Take it with a grain of salt because it's on Netflix. I mean, we can talk.
Well, until their stocks go back up, no.
But apparently, it came out in 2019. The Fantastic Fungi.
I'm gonna actually put that on tonight.
I highly recommend it. That's my younger sister, who's into mushrooms too. She was the one that saw it before it before it came onto Netflix.
I think I just made Obi just space out talking about fungus.
No, I was replying to comments from y'all in the DeFi channel. I'm on my computer reading about crypto. Ryoshi was talking about crypto pits and
I tried to get him to come on.
Eagles and
I'd like
all
to
this stuff. And I'm just like, NFT stuff, whatever.
Can't keep up. Yeah, I didn't mean to bore you talking about Airborne. You're the one that wanted me to shill something.
I know.
And I can't even shill. That's my problem. I can't shill my
Keep
own
us posted
project
on
because
keep us updated.
Kit's in it for the tech, not for the dollars.
No, there's no money. It's your
passion. Just do it. Put it out. It's a learning experience. I don't know. That's just
there is no money in NFTs at this point in time. People think, I mean, it's safer at this point in time in the bear market than doing yield farming, but it's just something. If you like the art, go for it, but you don't need the NFT to have a membership card to blah, 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 blah. I do like not ENS, but like name services to verify. That's one, and that's considered an NFT, and that's the only thing that has some sort of utility. Is just designating your authenticity to that wallet, and that's all.
And you got to provide utility. I think it's community and utility. Those are the two biggest things right now within the NFT space, which is going to keep a project going. At least the only NFTs that I still get offers on has a huge community right now, and not really utility, but it's mainly the community that keeps these NFT projects
because human psychology brings the sheep to the yard.
Yeah. But like if you have utility with your mushroom things, it's like, hey, if I purchase one of your mushroom NFTs, you're going to teach me a free course on homesteading or how to do whatever. Like you could just create whatever you want. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
Oh yeah, I mean,
or special inside information about Web3 development, blah blah blah. Like you could create that as more of an incentive to purchase one of your mushroom NFTs. I don't know, but
yeah, I mean, like you said, it's a small niche of people
and building a
that
community.
are interested.
You find out the mushroom community.
I'm not a social person. This is the most socializing ever. And now my spouse is shutting my door because he wants to go to bed. It's midnight.
Yeah, it is midnight.
I think it's time to turn down.
All right. So we'll end it on that, guys. Appreciate the 4 people still sticking around right now. This is a good conversation. Like I said, there was really no agenda. We just kind of talked about whatever, just kept the conversation going. And 2 hours and 34 minutes flew by like that to me. It literally feels like we just started the conversation with me and Obi the very beginning, and then I don't know, it was good times. So I'm gonna try to do this again next week. Actually, I think I have to work Saturday. But I don't
Bi-weekly?
know.
Once a month?
Actually, yeah, once a month. I'll try to keep it at that. Twice a week, I could definitely do. I'm gonna shoot for twice a week, but if not, we'll do it at least
Twice a month.
Twice a month.
Yeah, twice a month sounds good.
Thrice?
Fridays.
Thrice?
If Friday nights work, I could do a Friday night as well because I don't have to work till Sundays. So, I'm assuming a lot of people probably still work Fridays, so they can't stay up late on Thursday nights. So we can look at doing like a Thirsty Thursday Friday night, or do a VGX Heroes Hangout or whatever the heck we called it. What do we call the Friday night hangouts after the VGX collapse?
Freaky Friday? I don't know.
Freaky Friday.
It was just like a Heroes Hangout or something. I think I just called
Friday
it.
night hangout.
Heroes After Dark.
I want to get a lot of the people that we haven't heard from in a long time, like Peter Griffin.
Dude, we need to get Pablo out here. Roll him out there. Peter Griffin. Like, where, I'd love to like see like Pepe or Ross or like
what
Jack
happened to
Nicholson or
Pepe?
any of those guys.
What happened to Pepe? I mean,
he used
if he
himself
goes
out.
Crypto Daddy Pig hasn't been around in forever. Like,
Crypto CDP is around all.
Yeah, no, on YouTube. On YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He's always been.
The Platypunks came back.
I've been following it.
So I'm wondering, did Pepe therefore come back, or did he walk away?
No. He apparently stole some of the NFTs. Like some of the stuff he had. Yeah. So he's gone. I think because with Nick Mancini or whatever, like he still owned 300-400 Platties, and then he basically passed it off to Pepe. Pepe ran it, and something happened. Yeah. And then it's recently revived, and then they said something about Pepe. He's like, I don't know if he stole or transferred a bunch of these NFTs or whatever to some wallet. I haven't heard from him in a while, but that's the news of that collection. But I don't know. I just want to reconnect with a lot of you guys. So it's good to hear from Aragorn. Floki, he's probably busy, but I think he popped in the last.
Yeah, Floki, Gina, they pop. I mean, Slims, like they're on Spaces all the time.
Maximus, he always has to work on Fridays, so maybe I'll do a Friday night and have him come. He probably doesn't have to work on the weekends. It'd be good to hear from him.
Aldo's around all the time.
Yeah, Aldo.
But yeah, like I was thinking earlier today, like Pablo and Peter Griffin, like what are these guys up to? I haven't heard from him in forever. Like bring him back, Lucky Luciano and like come on guys, come on, where are you at?
I've sent them DMs, Pablo, actually not Pablo, but Peter Griffin the last 2 times, and no response at all. Like in November. No, but I know he like traveled the world like during the whole thing with his family for like 8-9 months. But I think he's back here, but I just haven't heard anything.
He's back stateside. He was looking for a job last time I talked to him, which I want to say was October. So it's been a few months. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? People just may not be on Twitter as much. Just being like, I'm distancing.
Yeah. Or different handles, or
sure.
Mirthless Chud, be good to have him to come on. Superman
talked to him today. Yep.
What's his name?
Because I bought his coffee, because his coffee's awesome.
Number one.
I'm the number one customer. Evidently, I order like a few pounds a month for sure.
Yeah. All right, guys, that's gonna do it. I'm like
people asking about it. All right, thank you so much, Airborne.
We can keep dragging it on. If you guys want to stay on and talk, I'm just gonna bounce out of here. Feel free to. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your night. Crypto Airborne out.